Welcome to this afternoon session on day 3 of the Broomball Australia 2025 National Championships. We're going to start this afternoon with the women's intermediate match, New South Wales versus South Australia.
High stick from South Australia. It is now a 5v4 for a New South Wales power play for the next 2 minutes. That was a high stick. Welcome back, everyone, to the Women's Intermediate ACT, South Australia Sharks versus the New South Wales Sliders. We are currently 7 minutes and 12 seconds into the first half with a 0-all result, as South Australia had a penalty for high stick. Now, going through the teams, women's intermediate for New South Wales, that is assistant captain Ashlyn Harrison, assistant captain Sally Yabsley-Bell, and captain Rebecca Bryan, with Hayley Shepherd, Monique Siswandi, Victoria Hewkins, Chelsea Seddon, Jane Earl, Tegan McKinley, Kerry-Ann Rigby, or Kez, Felicity Husband, and Anka De Bruyne as keeper. For the South Australians for the women's intermediate, we have captain Zoe Terry, Maureen Bastuli, assistant captain Kiana Watkins, assistant captain, and Amber Barrett, Karen Rowe, Dawn Burkett, Steph Biggs, Jen Farmer, Christine Flazell, Kelsey Lees, and Tracy Thomas. Now we have the South Australians making a break against the defence of New South Wales, which has kept them in this so far. The South Australians have quite a few breakout attempts, however, stopped short of scoring a goal through excellent defence and gritty goalkeeping from the bastion of Belgium. Now Biggs up against Rigby. Kerry-Ann taking a break due to some injury, however, has come back better than ever in my opinion. Now we have Hewkins. Hewkins up against Rowe. Shot in the centre, however, covered nicely by Harrison. Hewkins over to the side. Goes through the legs, a bit of a scramble. Harrison picked up nicely, McKinley. Lee's able to pick it up after all that and goes for the rebound. However, Anka, the bastion of Bruges, has picked up the ball and sent it over the line. Now here we have Terry, formerly known as Pfeiffer, taking the ball back behind the South Australian defensive goalie line. Taking it back behind the goal, looking for some passes there. Doesn't look like there's many South Australians open. However, they go to the far right. Over to Apology. However, the ball goes high on top. And goes over to the centre to Kerry-Ann, who shoots it down for the rebound. However, picked up by Terry, formerly Pfeiffer. Shoots over the top. Picked up by Hewkins, looking for a pass in the centre. Gets it. However, goes to a South Australian defender, who goes out to Sally Yabsley-Bell. Yabsley-Bell tussling. Back down in the South Australian defensive half. Across now to McKinley. McKinley picking up well. McKinley down. Hewkins picking up the rebound. New South Wales setting up for an offensive coordinator there. McKinley back over to Hewkins. However, Terry looks like she's going to get to it first. Emma, 81, getting a past Yabsley-Bell. Barrett. Shot. Almost off the rebound. However, Anka is there to smother that offensive play from the South Australians. Lees just goes over the stick. Now here we have Earl. Earl trying once. Earl trying again. Goes down to Barrett. Bryan, the captain, hits it off the wall. However, Lees is there to clean it up. Lees low and low, however, stops beautifully by the New South Wales defense. And now Shepherd, the double point scorer, has picked up the ball and decided to go back to Yabsley-Bell for a reset. Now, Earl is chasing. South Australia taking it back within their defensive third. However, stripped by Earl. And now Siswandi and Earl taking on three South Australian defenders. However, Harrison has come in support. Yabsley-Bell. A cracking shot, however, unable to get past the two South Australian defenders. The ball's going high. However, called as a hand pass. The ball will now be dropped in the South Australian defensive half, with Shepherd, Seddon, Hewkins, Rigby and Hudson lining up for New South Wales. Shepherd tries to go through the centre. Gets a pass one, however, is picked up by a South Australian defender. Kerry-Ann Rigby goes for the bounce pass off the walls. Dukins. Unfortunately taken there by South Australia. However, Australia's going to come back and run. However, Kez is there. Defensive masterclass by Kerry-Ann. Scores for New South Wales. It's a thing of beauty. Defense turning into offense. And that's New South Wales 1, South Australia 0. Well done to New South Wales. We're about to see the replay. And that is just textbook. Gets the steal from South Australia, puts it perfectly, top right corner. Now we have Seddon. And New South Wales are right back in this, looking for a centre pass. Seddon, however, decides to keep it. Unfortunate turnover there, but South Australia is starting to push the pace. However, goes straight back to Rigby after a phenomenal goal. Back to Seddon for a nice reset. Harrison trying to get open in the corner. Seddon pursued by Barrett. Tries to go for the centre there, however, blocked massively by the South Australian keeper. Barrett looks to go past Brian. Looks to go past Rigby. Now Unker comes out. Perfect dump by Unker, giving New South Wales a little bit of breathing space. And New South Wales keeper Unker making perfect decisions there. Coming out, taking pressure off the defenders and resetting the ball so that people can get back to the positions that they need to. Now, setting back up in the South Australian goal half with the 20 seconds remaining. It looks like New South Wales will enter the halftime 1-0. It's Shepherd in the face-off. Shepherd goes back to Yabsley Bell. Big swing. Rebound there. Chased down by Earl. Hudson in support. Earl tries for the pass. However, it's more than fine as we go into halftime. 1-0. New South Wales Sliders to South Australia Sharks. The current standings as they are is South Australia on the top of the leaderboard with 3 wins, 1 draw. New South Wales with 1 win and 2 draws and 1 loss. Now, if New South Wales is able to hold on to this lead, they will almost certainly secure their position as second and look forward to taking on South Australia in the finals, who are currently in first. This is a battle of the Titans. New South Wales is on quite the streak. Unable to capitalise on a victory last night using the momentum against ACT, however, has shown incredible grit, skill and speed in taking the South Australian team to 1-0. South Australia, what more needs to be said? The top of the table, they're a phenomenal team with currently 3 wins and 1 draw. This game is far from over and we have 20 minutes left to prove that. Please join us now for the drop. Yabsley Bell. Picked up by Pfeiffer Terry, however, it's a hand pass. Pointed out excellently, expertly by Pfeiffer Terry, a world's player. Terry running it back behind the goals, looking for some space. However, good pressure applied by the New South Wales forwards and picked up by Yabsley Bell, who big swing goes down the centre. However, blocked masterfully by the South Australian defence, and that is Lees. Lees has been everywhere tonight. Offense, defence. If you need a stop, you call Lees. Oh, looks like a bit of a rumble-tumble there. Oh, looks like he may have an injury, actually. And that looks to be stop time. Unsure of who went down. Oh, that looks to be Shepherd. Shepherd being taken off, and they have given it their all this tournament. Scoring 2 goals in their games yesterday has been phenomenal for this New South Wales intermediate team, and we wish them the best of recoveries. We have Harrison versus Lees for the drop in the New South Wales defensive half. However, South Australia pick it up well. Terry takes it over to the side, goes for a shot. However, blocked masterfully by Seddon. Harrison pressing up on Lees. Good ball down to the South Australian. However, the New South Wales defenders, as they always are there to pick it up. Here we have Kerry Ann with Flazell. Flazell, an all-star, world's all-star keeper. Hudson with a good spin move. Over to Seddon. Seddon, great pass, and it goes deep. We have one South Australian defender, flanked by 2 New South Wales forwards. However, South Australia now have numbers and able to pass. However, Seddon comes across. Lees doing phenomenally. Seddon passing it back to Rigby. Rigby backing down the defender. Goes for the pass inside. Here's Harrison. Picked up by South Australia. However, some great passing from New South Wales in the middle to try and expose the slot. Kerry Ann goes for the dump. Goes back as far as Terry, who brings it up with plenty of passing options. However, New South Wales starting to apply the pressure now. Seddon picks it up. Gilzell, excellent flick. Back into the New South Wales goal third. There are 17 minutes to play in this game, folks, and I am excited. Hudson. Flicks it up. Over to Seddon. Seddon, marked by Lees. Lees. Good pressure. However, goes back to Kerry Ann. Rigby. Apologies, guys. Rigby. Rigby. Oh, flicks up and over. Back to Seddon. They got that Rhinos B connection. Seddon looking for Earl. Earl picks it up well. Gets it over the red now. South Australia are offside. However, New South Wales also looks to be offside. And that is Shepherd back on the ice. We love to see it. And here comes Terry. Plenty of time as New South Wales have only just got themselves back on side. And that is called as an icing. So the ball will be dropped back in the South Australian defensive half. The score is still 1-0, New South Wales leading. We go now into the drop-off. South Australia doing a bit of funky moving. Yabsley Bell, big swing. However, decides to turn it into a pass. Hewkins. Hewkins flanked by 3 South Australian defenders. However, pass out to Siswandi. Siswandi weighing up their options. Siswandi, decent shot, however, cut off by Terry. Siswandi, a good chase. Marked by South Australian, decides to go in the corner. We have Harrison looking for a pass in. Here comes Siswandi. Siswandi, another big swing. Bouncing off the South Australian defender. Harrison going up against Terry. 2 world players. Locked in Mortal Kombat. Assisted by Broadbent. Harrison and Terry. Terry passes out. Picked up beautifully by Brian. A decent run by a South Australian defender. Broadbent tries to pass it up the middle. However, Brian is there. The team captain anchoring the defense. Here we have Hewkins. Watkins on Yabsley Bell now. Yabsley Bell passes to the side. However, no one's there because they've subbed. Yabsley Bell goes for another trademark big hit and finds Harrison. Here we have Broadbent, who's been doing a lot of work in the middle. Gets past Brian. Back to Broadbent. South Australia kind of playing with it. However, New South Wales are offside. So Oh, now South Australia's offside. And that will be a drop in South Australia defensive half. Because it looks like the centre player, number 88, was over the line before the ball. Can you have that there? Yeah. All right, we're joined as the ball is once again dropped in the South Australian half. We have Thomas. Thomas marked by McKinley. Oh, Thomas, a bit of a shove on Shepherd there, but part of battle, I suppose. We have Lees. Lees over to Barrett. Barrett kept up beautifully by Hudson. Now we have Rigby. Rigby with that signature right foot, however, goes straight to Philzell. And you can't be kicking things like that to a world keeper. Now that has been called icing. And will be dropped once again in the South Australian defensive half. Now, once again, it is Harrison versus Lees. Harrison, clear air there. Oh, Saswandi almost gets it to go to the back of the net. However, goes over, and New South Wales are resetting. Saswandi over to Harrison. Rowe cutting off the inside pass and beautifully held by the keeper, Jen Farmer. Both keepers putting in work tonight. Now we have Biggs up against Shepherd. Apologies, we have Broadbent up against Shepherd. Seddon just goes past the forwards of New South Wales. Hewkins picked up by Thomas. And New South Wales having plenty of time here to be able to set themselves up, get some clear lanes open. And Seddon goes the 1-2 Skipperloo and gets past the defender. Perfect shot. And the Hewkins from the corner. A beautiful shot, however, just a little to the left. Now here comes Shepherd. Shepherd over to Seddon. Seddon trying for the low pass, however, cut off by the South Australian defender. Now here we have Thomas. Thomas from the back, however, picked up by Shepherd once again. Now Hewkins from the same spot, however, passing it off to Shepherd. Shepherd might have a crack. Bit of tussling there, but that's okay. Here to battle. Now, this looks like it's going to be icing. Dropped into the South Australian defensive half, and that will be icing. Looks like the potential third icing from the South Australians. However, buying themselves New South Wales time to reset, sub, and get themselves in the position that they need to be. We have Terry going back to Thomas. Hudson and Barrett. A defensive masterclass from both parties. Here we have Yabsley Bell. Trademark big hit and trademark on target. We have Earl stripping the South Australian defender. However, goes back to Harrison. New South Wales have had plenty of possession in the South Australian defensive goal line at this stage of the journey. Now, here we have McKinley. McKinley over to Harrison. Harrison shoots in. Picked up by McKinley beautifully. However, the keeper was there to stifle anything. Now, Barrett and Hudson. Barrett with an unfortunate trip. Jen Farmer, perfect positioning there. However, a phenomenal shot from Hudson. Philzell. Philzell off the wall, past Yabsley Bell. Will it go over the line? It has gone over the line. Now New South Wales will have to get back onside, which gives South Australia ample time to set themselves up. Here we have Terry. Terry fighting past Harrison. We have Siswandi going past Barrett. However, Barrett picks it up. Yabsley Bell. Excellent flick. However, picked up by Terry. Not able to get it past Hudson, who has flicks it, says no thank you, and flicks it straight back. Here we have Broadbent. Broadbent taking it back behind the South Australian goal, flanked by Shepherd and Siswandi. Broadbent over to Terry, however picked up by Shepherd. Shepherd goes to the centre there. Here's Seddon. Here's Carrion. Carrion doesn't get it. goes high. That's all right. My apologies. Siswandi. Over on the side. Shepherd. Over to Seddon. Seddon to this forwards, working beautifully to work it round the South Australian goal with a defence absolutely phenomenal. And is preventing the breakouts. But South Australia have done so well. Speaking of which, here they come now. To keep out the New South Wales individuals. Here comes Rigby again. Philzell. Rigby's just able to get past. Rigby having another crack. Oh, beautifully blocked by Jen Farmer, who is doing a phenomenal job in keeping the New South Wales offense from scoring again.
Hand pass.
Okay. Seddon goes to the corner. Round to Terry. Over to Thomas. Thomas picked up by Siswandi. Passes it across. Philzell. A big shot. However, this is likely to be another icing from South Australia to get it back into their defensive half. Here we have Harrison up against Lees. Lees and Harrison. Common antagonists for each other tonight. However, they both played phenomenal games. Here comes Yabsley Bell. Yabsley Bell picks up the ball at the New South Wales blue line. Excellent flick off the boards. I thought that was going over. Shows what I know, which is nothing. Here comes Yabsley Bell. Over the top. Perfect from Yabsley Bell. Rowe picked up. And it looks like we're going tit for tat here for New South Wales, South Australia. Long shots. However, this has been called as a no ice, as the New South Wales player has got to it before it has gone over the line. We have Lees looking for the cross in. However, blocked by Harrison. Goes again. Stopped by Yabsley Bell. Yabsley Bell picked up by Biggs. Yabsley Bell goes for the shot across. Here comes Hewkins. Hewkins and Terry. Terry. I hope Hewkins is okay. Oh, look. Straight back on their feet. Excellent. However, just a bit of contact. That's okay. Clean. Lees. Here comes Lees. Gets it past Harrison. However, Harrison looked like they may pick it up. Lees looking for the pass inside. Goes for the shot. However, blocked masterfully by the defense and the keeper. Shot again by South Australia. Goes in front. However, no dice, as a forward is not there to put it in. However, South Australia really showing some signs of attack in these last 6 minutes of the game. Love to see it. I don't... my apologies. Looks like a bit of a argy-bargy there in the front. Now, looks like South Australian Terry is taking it back behind their goals, waiting for South Australia to sub, get position. However, like always, the New South Wales forwards are pushing, and they are pushing hard, putting on that pressure and forcing South Australia to go back to Terry. Terry looking to go over to Rowe, off Philzell. Unfortunately missed by Brian, however picked up by Rigby. Rigby with the signature pink gloves. Oh, it's blocked by Philzell. Looking to go deep, however, cleared beautifully by Hewkins. However, picked up by Terry. Terry, a defensive centrepiece for this South Australian team, has been vital for getting the ball back up. Now called a no icing. So Brian over to Rigby. Rigby Looks to hold. Potentially may go to Seddon or back to Brian. Potentially looking for some more open options. However, Seddon looks to be open. However, decides to go for Zell. Zell picks it up. Rigby again. Rigby back behind the goals. Has some options in McKinley. Or maybe not. I apologise. There's Brian and Seddon. However, Rigby just content to kick it. Now Seddon running on. And a decent rebound shot from there from South Australia. Unka calling for some passes. Just goes a little over. However, Seddon back in the fight. Now the forwards are communicating about who's going to pick up who. We have Terry shooting from the back. A long shot in, however, blocked perfectly by Shepherd. Terry again. Ooh, that was a filthy cross in front of the New South Wales goal. Phenomenal effort by the South Australian players. And that was some excellent offensive work. However, New South Wales, very strong defensively. Here's Rowe. South Australia offside. However, now they are now onside. Here's Terry once again. Terry. Flick from Chelsea. Blocked. Chelsea off the wall. It's a battle of the worlds, players. Here's Rowe to Rigby. To Shepherd. Shepherd to McKinley. McKinley picked up by Farmer. Rowe tries to go past Swandy. Swandy blocks well. Swandy goes to the corner. South Australia scramble. Look there. Shepherd back over with Terry. Yeah, that has been called. It looks like it's a boarding or a roughing. Looks like there were a few bumps there from South Australia. However, New South Wales have now been given a 2-minute opportunity to score. We have a 5-4 New South Wales advantage. 5 plays for New South Wales. 4 for South Australia. However, South Australia ice it. And now the ball will be dropped in the South Australian half. Like Gabsley Bell, Earl, Hewkins, Hudson, and Harrison squaring up against Philzell. Thomas. Lees, who's on a perfect run right now. Lees, who's doing, oh my goodness! If South Australia had scored of it, that would be a goal for the ages. 4 on 5. Here we go, though. South Australia with a new breath of life. South Australia. Excellent passing, but even better stop from Unka. Unka has been a brick wall tonight. And has really buoyed the New South Wales in this game. Under a minute left to go in the game. Harrison against Leeds once again. A Taylor's oldest time. Pulsell looks to go across. However, picked up by McKinley. It looks like South Australia committing all to this play, as they should. We have Brian. Brian looking to go across. Over to Seddon. Picked up beautifully. Seddon bounces it off the wall. Broadbent. Seddon. Fighting for it on the wall. However, decides to go across to Harrison. It looks like South Australia are exerting enormous pressure on the New South Wales defenders. However, New South Wales defending well. But what South Australia have done here is impressive. Intensity starting to ramp up as South Australia needs to make something happen here. And New South Wales content to hold it. Looks like Lees and Yabsley Bell fighting for it. And that is New South Wales 1, South Australia Sharks 0. As New South Wales look to cement their place as the second seed for now. And the finals battle, which will take place tomorrow at 12:15. Make sure you tune in. Coming up, we have the Battle of the Intermediates. We have ACT Flames versus South Australia Sharks to once and truly determine who will be taking on the New South Wales Sliders tomorrow at... Actually, that's 12:15. My apologies. That's at 12:15. Tomorrow at the New South Wales... at the Intermediate Grand Final. So for those of you watching at home, ACT is the likely debutante heading towards the grand final tomorrow. However, South Australia can head to a final as they tied with New South Wales earlier today if they beat ACT, I think, by a margin of 6. I could be incorrect on that. However, I think that is correct as per the current standings. Final intermediate game before we head into the final season, with 2 elite games being played tomorrow morning, followed by a run of finals. Both teams showing immense heart and grit to play through 6 games. And we look forward to seeing them play one more. Apologies, the ACT team name is Griffins, not Flames. Working it back around. South Australia have some absolute veterans in their back line, with Don Godmire able to field a strong defense. However, here comes Buttenshaw. Oh, Buttenshaw. An excellent spark plug for this ACT team. Taking shots, taking checks, being everywhere all at once. However, the South Australian veterans pass it at the back, with being taken by Shapley. Shapley, Cashel, and Buttenshaw. Buttenshaw bites, and Shapley passes it back behind the South Australian goal. Now, above the top, Hall running on. However, this looks to be icing. So just for those of you at home who don't know what icing is, if you hit it from your defensive half over past the goal line of the opposition's half, without anyone able to reasonably get the ball and no one running, and if they're running for the ball, they need to take it back into the offending team's half. So that was explained terribly. South Australia looks to have won that tip-off. However, ACT will never say die. And here comes ACT. Big swing. Have a block by a South Australian player. Now here comes South Australia. Oh, looks to be a check in the back as called by the referee. And that is on player 62. Now for those of you at home who don't know, you cannot check a player in the back. And checking means any kind of physical contact with intent to throw off their line of running. And just while we are having a quick break, I'd like to give a quick shout out to De Ferreira for setting up this camera setup. Graham for being on the camera, fellow commentator Maddie, Ben, Cecilia, everyone who's helped with this, because this is awesome. So we've had the drop there. However, it looks like they may have gone for the ball before it hit the ice. However, ACT with a near textbook icing, and the South Australian keeper comes out to get that, passes it to Wheelwright. Wheelwright goes across. However, picked up by South 3. Godmare. Godmare over to Shapley. Shapley. This is quite chaotic for a penalty kill. However, ACT doing well, keeping South Australia out of position. However, this may come back to bite them. We've got Wheelwright. Wheelwright running it across. Wheelwright flanked by Godmare. We've got Booth in the forward position. Godmare slaps it across. Godmare, top of the key, looking for a shot. Oh, almost comes off a South Australian head in the form of Shapley. However, no dice on that one as the ACT keeper in defense is able to stop that. Oh, looks to be... Oh, that's fine. Number 60 over to Guthrie. And fun fact about ACT, a lot of them don't wear face cages, which... Yeah, do with the information what you will. Now, we have 93 over to Godmare. Don Godmare over to Wheelwright. Now, South Australia setting up to find that great shot. In penalty kills, it's not about the good shot, it's about the great shot. And that was a great shot. However, the ACT keeper saw it coming. It doesn't look that was a screener. Now, South Australia on the back foot. ACT doing very well to keep out South Australia for this power play. Most of the time, they will be defending. However, the Griffins have done a phenomenal job in keeping the South Australians in check and keeping their penalty kill alive. Now, ACT is back at full strength. It's 5-on-5. We have Shapley going into the centre. Bumped off the line. However, that was a legitimate check. That was a good check. Now, here we have ACT. Buttonshaw. Buttonshaw, big swing! Off the left post. Michael Workman putting in work as a goalie. I should say putting in overtime. Here comes Guthrie. And if you can hear the screams next to me, that is the ACT cheer squad. They are fanatic. Oh! Number 63, 62, Sam Bowden. An excellent shot. And ACT, a real run of form there, back at full strength. Taking shot after shot, and most on target. Excellent work to ACT. However, South Australia have had some excellent runs of their own. Here we have Buttonshaw, Keane, Cashel, Burgess. Flanked by Calwell, Caffrey. Workman in goals, Godmare. Shoring up that back line. Burgess. Checked by Odin. Burgess, the captain of the ACT team. Keane. South Australia playing it back to their ever-capable and ever-stable backline. Playing across for the switch. However, just don't have the speed. However, South Australia picks it up perfectly. Buttonshaw is there. ACT can play quite a chaotic style, however it works for them. Here's Buttonshaw. Ooh.
Like in some ways I don't mind too much.
Here's Burgess. Burgess over to Buttonshaw. Buttonshaw, big swing. Buttonshaw looks to get it down into the South Australian half. However, sent straight back with Burgess picking it up, looking to go across the rows. However, no. Decides to go centre to Godmare. Godmare may look to go across and switch. South Australia contends to play in their back half for now. However, they need a win off this game. And they need a fairly high-scoring game. Here we have Booth. Booth, an exceedingly fast player. Plays it through the centre to Shapley. Shapley does a spin move and maintains possession. Gets past the ACT defender. Here's from Godmare. Shapley and Godmare with Booth on the red line.
He'll play wherever he can.
ACT aren't really pressing on this. They're happy to let the South Australians play with it. However, I'm eating those words as I speak, as the ball is picked up by Workman. Goes across, Buttonshaw. Buttonshaw checked, but gets a good pass off. Here comes Rose. Rose to Buttonshaw. Buttonshaw in front, however, picked up by Workman. However, Workman was out of the crease, so he is seen as just a player. Now here we have Hall. Hill picked up by Burgess. Burgess, decent check to get him off the ball. However, South Australia picks it up. Buttonshaw. Buttonshaw with a Hail Mary, however it works out. And here we have Wheelwright. Wheelwright speedy and eager to check. Wheelwright, a real dynamo in the back line. Passes it up to Elix. A tenuous pass there, however, goes to Booth. Taken by, perfect shot, perfect setup by the ACT. However, Michael Workman putting in some excellent work. Caldwell. The thrilling game of thrills and spills from the ACT and South Australian intermediates. 30 more minutes to come.
Oh.
Yeah, I just need a walking. Here we have Cornish. Cornish once again. Elix. Shots on by the ACT, and they are letting it fly from anywhere in that half. However, it seems to be working from them because they got the speed to be able to get those rebounds. Here we have Real Right. Balestrini. Balestrin? Who is the elite keeper? Oh, Balestrin strip and runs straight past. However, Balestrin, a smile on his face as he checks the ACT player. Nice guy. Here we have number 59, Elix, playing it at the back. Wheelwright. Wheelwright, decent coverage by the ACT players, and they're trying to get over the red line. Shapley looking for a pass inside, or maybe for a shot. Looks for the pass inside, however, picked up beautifully by the ACT defender, who looks to go across the slot. Interesting tactic. Now we have 62, Bowden. Bowden to Guthrie. Excellent textbook flick over to Skidmore. However, Godmire gets over the red line and then flicks it across, resulting in no icing. Cornish. Big hit from Cornish. However, picked up in the center by South Australia. South Australia looking for an opportunity here. A chance to go into the history books as making the finals in ACT. Godmare, perfect off the line. Balestrini. A bit of argy-bargy, but that is... that is the... Here we have Godmare. Godmare looks to be potentially an icing. Both refs have hands up. Also, shout out to our refs. Like, it's legitimately a very tough job. And I couldn't do it, so I can barely do this. So, but at 8 minutes and 40 seconds in the piece, we have the scores at 0-0. South Australia looking for a high-scoring game where ACT looking to hone their skills. And they're absolutely looking to score. They are a high-flying team. Burgess pushes through the check over to Rose. Rose, Buttonshaw. Buttonshaw has been lightning all game. Some big hits coming from the South Australians now. Rose, McCaffrey, marked by Burgess. Looks to go. Burgess with a good check to be able to get him off the ball. Burgess look to go behind his own goal. He's got Keane, however, passes into the center. gets the ball back, thankfully, but South Australia are swarming. Thankfully, ACT are able to get it out, but that was tenuous. Here we have Wheelwright. No icing is called by the referees. Here we have Wheelwright, a phenomenal player in the back line, and the heart and soul of South Australian teams, I'd say. He's great. Wheelwright. Over to the centre. 93. 93, Hall. South Australia. Oh, Buttonshaw pushes. Looks like the push in the back. It looks like that was a. It looks like that was a push in the back. I don't know. But here we have number 57. Now, what South Australia have done here is they pulled their keeper and put an extra player on the field. As when ACT touch it, that is a foul. And a foul it is indeed on number 3, Buttonshaw. It looks like for a push in the back. Now, South Australia will have 2 minutes in a 5v4 to be able to score and take the lead in this grudge match. It's not really a grudge match. I think they quite like each other. Regardless. Grudge match. All right, here we have Shapley. Oh, Shapley! Here's a cracking shot. Godmare. Godmare. We got Booth. We have Elix. Elix. Big swing. Big wind-up. Goes past the ACT defender. And ACT is spread quite far out for this power play. However, SA seem content to take their time and take the shots as they come. However, I say as ACT get it over the line, here comes out Workman. And it looks like ACT are in the diamond formation with only 2 on the red. With Shapley looking to get it over. However, ACT are just shutting down the passes as they're trying to get over the red line. ACT burning through precious time here. However, here comes Shapley. Shapley, taken by Cornish. Goes through. Booth! Blocked beautifully by number 60, Bowden. Dennis Bowden. D. Bowden. Shout out Bowden. Elix, looking to wind up. Cracks it through. Beautifully executed by the ACT keeper to keep that goal out. Here we have Elix again. But the ACT defense standing strong. Here, Elix a third time. They say third time's a charm, not in this case. So, but Elix has a proper shot on him. Here we have Shapley. Shapley against D. Bowden. D. Bowden putting in some excellent work. Here's Elix again. Elix with a beautiful curved shot that goes over the ACT goal. South Australia pouring on the shot attempts. However, it looks like the penalty is over and the ACT player is coming back on once the ball drops. For those of you at home, the player can only come on once the ball is back in play. And now, ACT's at full strength. And with their renewed vigour, they go for the chase on Wheelwright. However, Wheelwright gets away beautifully. Cornish at the back, the assistant captain for the ACT. Wheelwright close. However, called as icing as Wheelwright was not able to get there before it went over the red line. He was close, but he wasn't that close. Here we have the, perfect hustle by Wheelwright. Able to get the ball back in the ACT goal half. However, ACT playing an excellent passing game. Now we have Buttonshaw. Buttonshaw covered by Wheelwright. Buttonshaw and Wheelwright fighting at the wall. However, Wheelwright gets past. However, here comes Cashel. Cashel covered by Wheelwright. Wheelwright is everywhere tonight. Cornish. Now here we have a bit of a spin move from the South Australian player, but if it works, I ain't judging. Burgess with a strip, Burgess with a shot, Burgess just above the line. With the captain for ACT, earning his salt. ACT playing in front of the South Australian goal. However, the South Australians, here they come. South Australians get over the line. It's Hall, it's Burgess. Hall, Burgess, and Rose. Hall goes across. 93, absolute dynamo. Trying to get themselves open for that inward pass. Here comes Wheelwright. Wheelwright at the back. Wheelwright, big shot. Big pass. Picked up by South Australia. However, it goes left of the goal. Buttonshaw. Yeah, big shot. However, it looks like it may be icing. However, here comes Elix. Wow. Who's putting the pump on to try and get that ball? However, Paul is icing just before Elix is able to get to it. But shout out to the effort. 1 minute and 30 seconds remaining in this half. 0-all. ACT SA Sharks. Have Booth looking like they're up against Skidmore. Both two excellent players who have excellent tournaments. Ooh. Looks like both players take a tumble there. No calls. Excellent. Here's Elix. Elix passes it back. Godmeyer moving well to get onto it. However, here comes Bowden, S. Bowden, picking up Godmeyer and putting on some good pressure. This is what ACT wants, essentially, to keep South Australia in and then get opportunities like this. Here comes Workman. Cornish chasing. However, it looks like this is going to be an icing to be taken in South Australia's defensive half.
Still say it like we've got.
Is Booth versus Skidmore. Once again, a face-off we've seen before, but we love to see. Here comes ACT. Godmeyer playing at the back. Godmeyer behind the goals.
Let's clear it out. Red line.
Godmeyer. Oh, Balestrini, the elite keeper. Here comes Cornish. Here comes Balestrini. And that is the end of the half. 0-all for both teams. However, both teams showing grit, grind, and gratitude moving into the second half of this final regular intermediates game.
A terrific effort put in from both teams.
Let's go play some fucking Broomball.
And it's always interesting to see how both teams, first of all, huddle. Do they put their arms around each other? Do they put their sticks in? What do they say? Do they go on 3 or after 3? But yeah, I like every way that the teams do it. Now, here we. Oh gosh, this. Oh. Okay, so here we have Buttonshaw versus. Who was that? Oh. All right. Perfectly picked up by 93. However, Buttonshaw using their speed to steal it out from under them. Burgess able to pick up Guthrie. Here's Guthrie. Over to S. Bowden. Elix, a cracking shot over the top. Elix has had about 5 of those tonight, and all of them have been very pretty to watch. Here's McCaffrey. flanked by Buttonshaw. Here we have Shapley. Shapley, oh, across in front of the ACT keeper. However, here comes ACT. However, South Australia, Godnair, proving an absolute defensive masterclass. McCaffrey with Burgess into the boards. Buttonshaw. Buttonshaw still carrying. Marked well by Godmare, however, tries to go for the pass in the centre and picked up by ACT in the SA defensive half. Here's Burgess. Burgess flanked by Hall. A little bump, but that's okay. That's what we love to see. Here is S. Bowden. Buttonshaw. Elix. Elix going across. Shapley. Shapley passes it back. Picked up by Rose. Rose goes across to Burgess. Over across to S. Bowden. S. Bowden going for a long run. However, marked beautifully by number 59. Guthrie. Guthrie, a perfect shot in. However, covered well by Workman. Workman is certainly working, man. All right, here comes Rose. Oh my gosh. Oh! Double trouble from the ACT team as they have two wonderful attempts at goal. And here's a third. Not really. Sorry. Shout out to Buttonshaw. But it was blocked by South Australia. Burgess and the ACT team getting rowdy here as they're sniffing blood in the water. However, South Australia, the S stands for stalwart. They are standing strong against this onslaught. And I wouldn't be surprised if they had a response of their own in just a moment. However, here comes S. Bowden. Hall picks it up, looking for a breakout for South Australia. Oh, Hall taken by Cornish. Wheelwright taken in the back. Wheelwright making his decision. A great pass through and chased down by Burgess. However, it was taken over the halfway line. No icing has been called, which is good. Excellent. Burgess. Over to Cornish. Over to Guthrie. Taken by Wheelwright. Wheelwright was responsible for many of the South Australian defensive stops. All right, thank you back for joining us. We have Booth once again up against Skidmore. The drop won by ACT. Perfect ball in. However, looks like to be deflected off the foot of a South Australian player. Oh, Cashel. Cashel and Balestrini. Balestrin? Apologies. Here comes Booth over to Workman. Workman looks to trap, however, does the old not today, and passes it off to a South Australian Godmare. Now we have Shapley. Booth. That looks to be a trip from ACT. ACT, a bit of foul trouble this game. This is their second one. And if they... It looks to be player... $60, D. Bowden. That looks to be player 60, D. Bowden. And that looks to be a call for tripping. So, you're all used to this by now, folks. This will be a 5-on-4. 4 for ACT, 5 for South Australia. They'll have 2 minutes to make magic. Shout out to Ben for correcting me. That is 5 for South Australia, 4 for ACT. Speaking of which, we have 93. Going back to Godmare. Godmare may go across to Elix. He does. Elix, knowing him, he may shoot. And it's going to be a cracker. Goes to Godmare. Godmare. Buttonshaw trying to cover both players. Godmare. Godmare goes across to Shapley. Shapley under pressure from S. Bowden. Godmare. Godmare. Swing. Oh, beautifully taken off the top left corner of the goals. However, the ACT keeper, something special. Blocked by Buttonshaw. They've been everywhere tonight. Now here we have Shapley. Shapley. Over to Godmare. Godmere across. Godmere over to Elix. South Australia, a phenomenal passing game. An excellent shot. However, just unable to convert. ACT doing very well keeping them out. However, South Australia, just veterans in the power play. We have 45 seconds left in the power play, where South Australia can potentially take the lead in this game.
Move around in front of the goalie, Will. Cause a ruckus, Will. Get in there. Get in there, Will. Yours, Will.
Here's Wheelwright at the back. Buttonshaw tries to go for the leap. However, looks to be blocked by Cornish or Burgess. Excellent shot in by Shapley. Almost by Hall. And looks like a bit of argy-bargy there. Buttonshaw straight to Wheelwright. Wheelwright goes for the shot in. But taken perfectly by, I dare say, Rose. Oh, Burgess with a good check. Excellent shot by the South Australian. However, picked up well by the keeper. The keeper is earning overtime tonight. And that was an excellent penalty kill from ACT, but also a really good power play from South Australia. Now, we're back to 5-on-5. ACT is at full strength. As the ball is still being dropped in their goal half, they may have an opportunity to take the lead here, South Australia. However, ACT wins the face-off. Cornish. Oh, Cornish. With a decent check. However, that will be icing. Oh, and a high stick has been called from the South Australians. Balestrini. We will take a look at the replay there. Now it came out. Oh, it looks like he jumped. So it looks like there's the...
You can jump.
So it looks like as he jumped and the stick was above his normal head height, that resulted in a high stick. Unfortunate for the South Australians. However, an excellent effort. Oh, here they come. Speaking of which, 93, 93, 93! The perfect work from the South Australian keeper, Chris Gonzalez. What a phenomenal effort. Here we have McCaffrey, but South Australia coming back with a vengeance. You wouldn't think they were on the penalty kill. Cornish, picked up by Elix. Elix running it back behind the goal. South Australia happy to play with it to wind the clock down. And ACT not really doing much to put pressure on. They can afford to put 2-on-1. However, the ball is picked up by Workman, taking away even more time. Looks like a bit of friendly love between ACT and South Australia, as we have 1 minute left of the power play for ACT and the penalty kill for South Australia. South Australia done very well, almost getting a goal. However, there's 10 minutes left in this battle, and we will yet to see who is the victor. We have Elix going back behind to Wheelwright. Wheelwright picked up well. Going back to Elix. Elix once again. Elix hits it round. There's Buttonshaw. Go over to Burgess, the captain. Burgess looks to wind up, however, decides to go for the pass. ACT aren't really spreading out on the top here. Buttonshaw picked up by Shapley. That, oh my gosh. So, for people who couldn't see what happened at home, it hit the wire, bounced down and bounced in the goal. However, because it hit the wire, that is technically Not necessarily a penalty, but the ball needs to be dropped in the offending team's half. But that was sick. That was pretty cool. However, the penalty is now over. So as soon as that ball drops, South Australia will be back to full strength. It will be 5-on-5. Mano el mano. Here's Wheelwright. Wheelwright. Excellent flick. Doesn't even graze the roof, even though it looked like it could have. Picked up by the ACT keeper, who looks quite nonchalant about it, if I'm honest. Gonzalez passing across the Burton. A wonderful ref. Shout out Burton. All right, we have Booth going up against Buttonshaw. Shapley, big shot. Almost picked up by Hall, but just a little bit in front. Hall picked up by Burgess. Burgess with a good steal there. Burgess goes across. Unfortunately missed by the ACT player and picked up once again by Hall. Here comes Hall now. However, Burgess refusing to give up the play. And Hall and Burgess going toe-to-toe. Burgess passes across to Buttonshaw. Buttonshaw picked up by Wheelwright. Wheelwright and Buttonshaw. Ooh. Wheelwright and Buttonshaw. Oh, Buttonshaw is keeping on going. Looks like he picks up McCaffrey. And here we have Shapley. Tries to be blocked by Rose. However, South Australia are now on the attack. Now Hall. S. Bowden. Oh, shakes off the check. S. Bowden shaking off the check and kind of taking it themselves. Here comes Buttonshaw. Buttonshaw, a little to the left. And the keeper comes out to pick up the ball. That is one thing I've noticed about South Australian keeper. They do like to play out. Ooh. Looks like a bit of a tussle. Bit of a love hug. Now here comes Workman. Flicks it up. However, goes straight to S. Bowden, although Wheelwright is there to pick it up. Guthrie looks like a little bit low. However, that could have been a high stick, but it does not look like they touched it, which is very lucky for ACT. Excellent block by South Australia there. Looks like that's Caldwell. Here's Wheelwright. Cardwell everywhere this game. Now here comes South Australia. However, ACT have plenty of options. We have Dennis Bowden to Cornish to Boothie. So Booth, however, tries to get his own rebound. Showing a lot of grit. Elix checked from Buttonshaw. We have a one-on-one. However, picked up beautifully by Godmare. Godmare passing it down, waiting for his plays to get up, and I think that's a good play. We have 6 minutes left in this bout. Cornish and Hall getting into a little bit of a tussle. Plenty of checking going on. Oh, Balestrini. Here we go. 93. 93 had some amazing attempts at it. Elix. Wow, Buttonshaw just cracking it from halfway. A phenomenal effort, and Workman comes out, which means people can just check him. Not that they should. Not that they should. I'm not saying like. Anyway, just facts. Here comes 93, who's been a real stud for South Australia. However, picked up by Skidmore. Skidmore covered by Elix. Here comes Elix. Elix over to Shapley. Shapley, big swing. Just goes under the... Godmare. Looks like a call by the referee as the ball has gone out. Now, there are 5 minutes left in this piece. South Australia versus ACT. ACT just need a draw, a win. I think there might be, yeah. Look, right now as things stand, ACT will be going through to the finals. However, South Australia not going down without a fight. Another one by McCaffrey. Picked up by 93. Shapley. We have Skidmore. Skidmore got a bit of time. Skidmore goes to the wall. He's got Keane. He's got Bowden. Oh, I love to see a bit of camaraderie between the teams. You know, you hit each other, but you get back up again. Anyway, here we have... Oh, I mean, that was pretty phenomenal. He ran through 3 players. Excellent job, 93. Here he comes. Here comes 93. Oh, checked by 35 Rose. And that halts South Australia's momentum. However, Shapley over to Burgess. Shapley, good clear. However, Burgess and ACT are coming back with a vengeance. Here we have Skidmore. Skidmore into 2 South Australian players. Here we have, they're coming back. Although Skidmore picks it up again, goes for another shot, drops Wheelwright, but back on his feet. Oh, S. Bodwell. Bowden. I apologize. S. Bowden. Chris Gonzalez celebrating early.
Pressure on Will.
Here we have Cornish. No icing, as the ref said, as the referee has come out of their crease to be able to give South Australia a bit more time to be able to set up. Now, Elix goes above, so the South Australians will have to chase. South Australians showing a lot of grit here by chasing those balls. Elix, good pickup. However, even better pickup by Key. Burgess, able to get open for Rose. Burgess, excellent pass to Cashel. Cashel, however, goes past to Godmere. Hall goes high. However, blocked by Cashel. Here comes Boothie! Here comes Booth! Oh my goodness, what a scuffle in front of the goals. The Minister of Defence, Chris Gonzalez, has once again kept the ACT in this game. There is 2 minutes left in this piece. Both teams were technically a chance for intermediate glory. Here's Cashel. Shapley. Oh, bounces off Shapley's helmet. However, Workman comes out, kicks it. However, South Australia are offside. So ACT have plenty of time to be able to bring it back up. However, given away to Godmere. Godmere looking to pass it down, which is a good play. Wheelwright there to pick it up. South Australia have a minute and a half to make things happen. Here comes Godmere. Godmere, big shotter. Here comes Hall and Cornish. Good defensive work by Shapley. Here comes Godmere. Here comes number 60, D. Bowden. South Australia's keeper is out. It is now 6-on-5. From downtown! ACT scores from before halfway and they rush to embrace him. I am sorry, folks. That sent me speechless.
What a cracking shot that was.
I couldn't have said it better myself. What a cracking shot that was. And that was from Cornish. An absolute pearler of a goal. Seconds remaining. South Australia. – 20 seconds. South Australia looking to convert. ACT still have keeper increase. Oh, the cross. However, Shapley. Oh, Shapley so close. ACT 1, South Australia Sharks 0. It looks like ACT are going to the intermediate finals, 12:15 p.m. tomorrow. Be here or be square. Anyway, thank you. I'm Sean. Thank you to Graham. Thank you to Jeff. Thank you to Ben. Thank you to everyone. All right.
time. Man on! He's at the top! He's at the top!
Stay on this player!
Move forward, Mitch!
If you just joined us, we are now live,
Go for a walk!
and it is South Australia versus the ACT in men's elite. Currently, goalkeeper out of the crease. ACT have the ball, turnover for South Australia. ACT have the ball over the halfway line. And shot on goal, South Australia. Good defence there from ACT. Another shot on goal, South Australia. Bit of a shimmy. Just got to get that ball over the red line. It's offside at the moment. Shimmy. Just got to get that ball over the red line. It's offside at the moment. South Australia on the attack. Good pick up by ACT defence. He'll bring that ball out, just regather and reshape. And a bit of a checking there from the ACT. ACT still with the ball. Just moving it around the defence. And a flick up and over. Didn't cross the halfway line.
Well done, Dino!
And now ACT are on the attack. South Australia have the ball. And they've got to get that over the red line. ACT back on the attack. Swing and a miss there. ACT have the ball with Robert, 69. Bit of a challenge there by the two players, 71. And a shot on goal. South Australia pick up, number 72. South Australia comes out the defence, switch over to the right, and through ball there, easily picked up by ACT. Push over to the wide again to Lucas, and behind the goals. ACT will regroup. They want us over the red line early, and they're away on the attack. They have the numbers. We've got 3 on 4 here, and a let off there. Keep it out of the crease, and ACT will bring it out. Oh, nice pick up. Unlucky there not to capitalise on that. Wilson with the ball. Nice pick up by Roberts. Shot on goal. Great defence there by number 4. Another shot coming in. Deflection. And a pick up there. ACT are really peppering the South Australian goal here. It is brutal. We've got South Australia in defence now. Pressuring coming from the ACT. And we're through over the red line. Oh, body check there from ACT. ACT with the ball. And a bit of a 1-2, buckle my shoe, and he's over the line. We're on the attack here. And shot on goal. Great save by South Australian keeper. That was absolutely amazing. Oh, the players like it too. They've come in. A lot of testosterone flying there after that shot. Really good stuff. We've got the famous Jabs, who's refereeing here today. Big shout out to the refs, doing a fantastic job. Face off, win, tussle. ACT have the ball. ACT will try to dump it in, apparently. All right, no. Oh, no. Oh, and that's just a lovely pass, just inches away from the roof. A shot on goal and a deflection. They'll build this one up again. Oh, no, he's been dispossessed. South Australia on the attack, easily picked up by ACT, but we've got a few offside players there.
Set up, man on! Man on!
Oh, body check. Another body check. Easy picked up by ACT. They'll get that over the line. And a bit of a push in the back there from the captain. All right, they'll try and catch it, Brett here. It's been very back and forth stuff. We've got one player wide. If the ACT can see it, Martin will go for another. Oh, and that's a freeze from the keeper. So just to give both sides an opportunity to change their lines. High fives will be flying. And they'll regroup and get back into their positions. When there's a face-off, the players have to stand behind the red line, wait for the ball to drop, and then they can attack the ball. ACT have the ball with Martin, or Lucas, sorry. And he'll shoot. Oh, they wing it in, and a shot on goal. Deflection. Easy pick-up from South Australia. He'll flick this one up, but unfortunately, he saw the light, and the light saw him. When the ball hits the roof, that is an automatic drop ball back in your defence. And it's on again. South Australia with the ball. And they'll wait behind goals till their players get in position. The goal here is to try and get the ball over the red line. And that's gone out of play there. And that will be a drop ball about the centre of the crease. Oh, no, we're coming back. It's a defensive third. And both teams have swapped players in the line. Marshall to face off against 37. Oh, hustle, bustle. South Australia with the ball behind goals. They will cool their heels. Players will move wide. And now they're going to try and get it out.
Walk it up!
The forwards and the centres have to pick up their men.
Harry!
And now it's a chip over the top. And well kept in there by ACT. He's been monstered on the side of the pitch, but he's come up with the ball somehow. Very good play there from Balls. Oh, that is... Can they get it in here? Oh, lots of argy-bargy there in front of goals. They'll come out. They'll try and get this across the goal. Oh, nice bit of stick work there. They should go wide here, I would imagine. And they'll set it up for a shot. They'll probably...
That's it, stay with your players, watch the cut.
The Sharks are looking to sting ACT.
Nice,
Oh, and we have a player down. And that looks like a trip. And he'll go off in the sin bin for 2 minutes and reevaluate his life choices. Number 37 has just gone off. And that'll leave 4 players on the ice for South Australia. Now, it's a bit of confusion here. Wedding doesn't know what's going on, but we're back in play with ACT trying to get this ball and set up some sort of play. South Australia have just been dispossessed. ACT with the ball, and they will try and get that ball back out the line. Now they will try and go for a shot on goal. And great pick up there by South Australia. He's just pumped that down the line, and he's tried to ice it. Now they will try a 4-on-1 defence, and he's totally muffed that one. And it's back into South Australia's line. Coming back for number 13 for an easy pickup. South Australia will reset. ACT really want this. They've got one more extra man. They really should be getting this ball somehow. 72 with the ball. They'll play a bit of 1-2. And they're just going to try and wind that 2-minute penalty down and just get the ball away from ACT. Okay, now ACT have the ball back. They'll switch it wide. They'll come over to Roberts. Roberts will probably have a shot here, I would imagine. No, over the back. They'll probably set it up once more time. Roberts is going to have a go for sure here. Here he goes. Oh, that is a cracking shot by Roberts. Really good, right on target. SA with the ball. Argy Bargy on the bench. Bit of holding going on here, but perfectly legal. One player down, South Australia with the ball. Flickaroo up and over the top. South Australia will get it, and they will pump this one. Swing and a miss there from South Australia. And they'll put that behind the goal and around the goals. ACT will now cool their heels, and they'll set this up for a shot on goal. What they're trying to do here is try and find an open line towards the goal. And that player has just done a loop-the-loop and fell on his backside. And that's surely going to go hit the deck. No, what a brilliant chip there from the South Australian player. We've got 1 minute, 1 second left on the clock. Now we've got full strength back from South Australia. Bit of confusion here. And now ACT will put it wide. What a ball there from ACT. 55. Oh, nice body check. And lots of action there in the South Australian goal mouth. Almost the goal there. Great defense for South Australia. Now let's push this one wide. And up and over. That's going to hit the roof. Someone in the crowd just yelled out intentional. If you intentionally place it into the roof, you automatically get a 2-minute suspension in the bench for slowing the play down. Referee has the ball. Jabs will drop this one in. Nice pick up there from ACT. Shot on goal by Martin. And they'll regather behind their goals. Move around is called from South Australia. Bit of sloppy play there. They'll send it round the ground. He's picked that up. Good pick up there by South Australia. And he's put that one into the opposition's half. The first bit of work South Australia have done in the last 5 minutes. It's been all ACT. Oh, great shot on goal there. Very good work by South Australia. Another shot goal. That is a cracker. South Australia and ACT will toss it behind the goal. South Australia looking to set up a goal here. Oh, nice pick up. Oh, a lot of hand. Oh, that's going to hit the roof as well. Okay, this will give the opportunity for both teams to change their lines. And fist bumps and high fives will be handed out like sausages at Bunnings. Six minutes, 25 seconds remain in the half. South Australia versus ACT in the men's elite final, or not final. This is possibly for a shot into the final tomorrow. Both teams need a win. Oh, great defense there by South Australia. ACT take it behind their goal. And we'll play this out. Movement around from ACT. They'll probably go back around again. South Australia looking to put some pressure on. And a nice shoulder charge there.
Really good, Johnny. Really good, John.
Oh, a bit of a slip. Ice looks a bit slippery in that back section. And South Australia will try to apply pressure here and try and get a steal.
Get ready, John.
Okay. Something went on there. Not quite sure there whether it was a high stick or something, but we're coming back to the middle of the ice. Referee has his hand up. Not quite sure what's going on. Hand goes down. Nixon drops the ball. South Australia with the ball. Flick over the top. Lovely done. ACT on the attack. Now we've got 3 on 2. ACT should pick this one up and possibly get into the box. Oh, right across goals. No one there to have a shot. Man on man. Lucas for the shot and defect. South Australia on the attack here. They've got the numbers. 23 will shoot. He's put that one up high and it's into the back. And that's way out. And South Australia stopped that one from going over the red line. They'll put it back down. Flick inside for South Australia. Shot on goal. Good defense here from ACT. South Australia with the ball. Running that around the goals. ACT bring it out quite easily. ACT will try and get this over. And they will chase that down and try and get the steal. Bit of pressure is going to get put on. Oh, he's put that over the line. ACT with the ball. They'll come wide out and they'll switch. And they'll probably get that over the line. Marshall will attempt to get that ball, misses, but takes the man in. Double hand pass. And back into South Australia's defence. Easy pick up here from South Australia. They've got a little bit of time to set up the play. They go wide out to number 72. 72 puts a dubious ball through. Nicely done. 23 shoots. Nice save by the SA keeper. And he will not freeze that ball this time. Out goes to number 23. Comes back around. Good pick up one-on-one here, ACT. Oh, nicely saved there from going over the line. South Australia with the ball, but all players offside. Back onside. South Australia go. ACT goofing about in the back there. Bringing the ball back into play. Little flickaroo. And they're over the line. We've got South Australian players offside. Ref holds his hand up high. And they just dump that one down into the back. Oh, great take over the line there by ACT. Body check. And we have Martin at the back looking to put a little cheeky goal in. We have 2 minutes left on the clock. ACT with the ball. They will try and reset this play. They'll flick it around. Oh, here we go. Great play by Martin. Great shot on goal. Great save. Another shot coming. Pow. They'll set this one back up again. Shot on goal. Flick. We have someone at the back here from ACT. South Australia coming in. Roberts will have a shot. Oh, right into the arse cheek of 69. Oh, they put this one wide. That was a bit. And then South Australia on the attack here. Number 9 has the ball. And he's well into defence. Both lines will start to change a few players as they go on the attack. Ball comes across goals. Shot will come on here. Oh. He had two. He thought he had a lot of time on the ball, but no. That's going to hit the roof. And that'll let it rain. 54 seconds remaining in the first half here between ACT and South Australia in the men's elite. Both teams looking to win to make tomorrow's final. South Australia with the ball. Great pick up from ACT. Flick over the line. 31 seconds to go. 1-on-1. And he's just going to take that behind the goals. Good pick up here in hustle.
15!
And oh, unlucky there. He's just tried to play it off one of his people on the bench. And that'll go back into the centre and likely be the end of the first half.
Next 20 now. Next one. Next 20. Fucking nice with those. Fucking guys. It's a lot right. We're this fucking close to one here. Let's not let it slip. Let's keep that defensive, manning up discipline, alright? Know who you're fucking on. There's a few moments there where we get lucky because we're loose. So just tighten that up. Right? We got this. We got this. Nice and loud. Work for each other 24 minutes. Let's fucking go, alright? 1, 2, 3, shot!
Welcome back. Just joined us. We are back live watching the men's elite between South Australia and the ACT. SA with the ball. They are in the ACT half. They are trying to get some sort of play set up. ACT get the ball over the line. Process from the crowd. South Australia on the attack. ACT on the attack here. Shot on goal is wide. Comes back in. Keeper will freeze. South Australian men's elite team are coached by Kate and Matt Barrett. And the ACT team are coached by Alicia Martin and Katie Parr. We have ACT back in ACT's half. They'll swing the ball wide and intercept there almost by SA. And over the line they go on the attack for ACT. ACT with the ball out wide. Zach Brandon with the ball. And well kept in there by Banks. Nigel having a really good game of defense. Shot on goal. ACT pick up there. ACT still with the ball. ACT really putting the hurt on South Australia here. South Australia will take the ball on. He's got that over the line. And it's 1v1. Perry versus Winton. Good pick up. Lines change there between both teams. And ACT over the line, and keeper will freeze. So when the keeper holds the ball longer than 3 seconds, that constitutes a frozen ball, which means that we have a face-off on the big red dot. ACT with a shot. Good shot on goal. Great save by the SA keeper. And ACT will build up a play. Martin has the ball. Into Brandon. Shot on goal. And goal. ACT. What a great goal there by Brandon. Really just opened up for him and he took it. Actually, I actually think that was a bit of a correction. That was Nathan Wedding who's scored that one. Great goal, and that's gone out. ACT leads South Australia 1-0 with 14 minutes 20 remaining on the clock.
Go Sharkies!
ACT with the ball, flicks it over halfway. That should go for an icing.
Go Sharkies! Heads up!
You come back in the middle. Nixon refereeing here with assistance from Jabs. Ball comes down, ACT retrieves, flick will go over the top. ACT retrieve the ball, and great ball, almost got that one over the line. And that will be a drop ball in the defensive half of South Australia. ACT player got over the line, and the South Australia played at the ball. Face off is up, South Australia with the ball. Moves it nicely into the defence, plays it up the line, flicks it over, and South Australia with the ball with shot on goal through 37. South Australia. Oh, nice tussle. High stick is called. Referee does not put up the line. Straight to the helmet of Martin. And we have a player down. Play will stop here, and likely the clock will stop as well. He is not looking very good at all. And that will bring some assistance on for the ACT player. He's on his feet, which is a great sign. And I think he may have just blown a hamstring. He's going to need some assistance off. And that's going to be clapped off by the fans. And that'll be tournament over for that player. So that's Harkins that has come off with a likely hamstring injury. Collins to face off for South Australia, and that will go straight to the back for an icing. 12 minutes remaining on the clock thereabouts. Men's Elite Final, SA versus ACT. It's been a dominating half by ACT. They had a really good goal early on in the second half, and ACT will try and get a goal back in this next 5-minute block. ACT just casually puts one in. Oh, nice little soccer and pass. Shot on goal. Good shot. Come to Collins. Collins will bring it out. He'll wind up. Shot on goal by Collins just over the top. Comes back. Another shot and a little bit of a high stick. That was very similar to one of the men's elite games. One of the New South Wales got sent off for a similar attempt on goal. SA puts one through. We've got some work off the ball here. Jabs waves it off as nothing's wrong. And he puts that one in. Now we have some roughing by Blue. And Lucas will go off and spend 2 minutes thinking about what he actually done, because he's looking a bit clueless. He's now given a few words to our third umpire there, Chris. And he'll sit down and shut his mouth for 2 minutes. South Australia with the ball, and they will try and set up some sort of play. And they'll come wide. And great shot there by South Australia. And keeper will freeze that ball with 1 minute 40 remaining on the penalty clock. And ACT will stay with 4 players versus 5. ACT really want to win this face-off. They will try and set something up here, South Australia. They really need to cool their heels. And instead, they just wind up for a shot on goal. Banks comes on for ACT. And great win there in play by ACT, except one of their players touched the ball on the way out, which kept the ball in their half. Oh, that is a nice shot on goal. And another nice shot on goals. They just can't buy a goal, these South Australians. And they'll just dump this one down in the corner for an icing. And it'll come back into their defensive half for a drop ball.
30 guys, 30, less than 30.
Jabs will pick this one up. And face-off will go again. Great win there by ACT. ACT will try and hold on to the ball, and they'll just pepper that one up for another icing. Unfortunately, with this current games, there is no stoppage time when there is an icing, so teams will likely dump the ball for an icing to chew up that penalty time to get their player back online. The 2-minute timer is now stopped. However, they can't bring on their player until the ball's dropped. Now they're back to full strength, both sides, and they will try and get a shot on goal. They'll probably come back out, and great shot, unlucky. And that's hit the back cage, and will go for a drop ball in their defensive third. Both teams now will switch their players. And SA will go on the defense. South Australia with the ball. Plays it over the halfway line. And that guy's offside. Unlucky there, mate. He's had a bit of a cheeky smile there. He thought he might have got away with it, but nothing gets past Jabs. Referee blows the whistle and we're away. South Australia with the ball, sock it around. ACT get it over the halfway line. ACT charging down like a bull out of gate, and they will try and place some pressure on South Australia, and they'll put that in the back corner into the office, and it'll go for an icing. 7 minutes roughly remain on the clock. South Australia will be really looking for a goal in the next 2 to 3 minutes to try and place the pressure on ACT. ACT looks like they're just applying full gas, and they're just really not going for the defensive play. They just want to go for the win. Great save there by Banks. ACT will try and get an intercept. Great use of body there by 73 and slide in. South Australia with the ball, they'll try and get it out of their line, and really don't know what they're doing there. They've lost the ball. ACT come in, give the keeper a bush, and it's with ACT at the moment. Can't really see what's happening in that back corner, but it sure must be interesting because a lot of people are yelling. Ball comes out, ACT with the shot, keeper saves. Oh, great save there by ACT, and another shot on goal. South Australia will try and play this one out of their defensive line. And ACT have picked up that ball. Oh, great save there by South Australia. They'll put the pressure back onto Banks. He'll do a little shimmy over. Great use of voice there. South Australia over the line, and checking will happen. Great pick up there. South Australia will have to score here, surely. Oh, he's really muffed that. And here we go. Winds up for a shot. Saved by ACT. And they'll just pump that one over. Oh, socket through again. And they're over the line. All South Australian players are now offside. And this will give them a chance to change their lines. New set of fresh legs come on. South Australia on the attack. They've put it into the play. And South Australia nearly got a cheeky steal there. Martin with the ball. Lucas plays. South Australia try to pepper it in. Keeper freezes the ball. Gallagher is really having a great game in goals today for ACT. He has kept them in the game. Face off. Great win there by ACT. They'll come around the back of the line. Lucas has the ball. South Australia pressuring Lucas. Barnett will try a cheeky steal here. Oh, nice play, but unfortunately, bad body positioning. They've gone wide. ACT on the attack now. Nixon. Number 23, Michael Jordan, a.k.a. Collins, has the ball. He's put his body on the line there for great bit of defense there by South Australia. Bit of argy-bargy off the ball there by South Australia. Goes unnoticed by the referee. Lucas with the ball. ACT have it. Lucas is just gifted at just razzle-dazzle and puts it back into the South Australian line. Oh, that may have been a cheeky. They had 6 on the ice there for a brief second. Referee missed it. ACT with a shot. ACT will wind up with another shot. Great shot on goal. Great save by the keeper. Explosive stuff from the ACT bench. Both lines will swap. And we have 3 minutes left on the play in the second half of the men's elite. South Australia versus the ACT. Face off. South Australia wins. Pressure by ACT. South Australia will put this one into the roof and rain will come down onto the ice. ACT slow getting this one back. Launches it in, referee sockers it in, and we'll have a face-off shortly. ACT wins, brings the ball out. It's gone over the halfway line. South Australia on the attack. Garrity will try and pick up the ball. Oh, great play there. ACT. And that is... ACT will go off for 5 here. He's checked someone to the boards. And ACT are calling for 5. It's not even 5 left on the clock, but he will take a moment on the bench. 1 minute 50 left on the clock. South Australia have a man down. ACT reshuffling their line. One minute 30 left on the clock. Ref comes in. South Australia South Australia will put some pressure here on. ACT have the ball. Brings it wide to Banks. Banks back to that guy. Plays it off the wall. They will come back. Shot on goal. And swing and a miss there by ACT. South Australia have the ball. ACT have the ball. Brings it back in. Shot on goal to come. And that has almost left the building via the sky. 41 seconds left on the clock. A minute 13 left on the penalty. They won't partake any more in the game. And we come back to the middle. 4. And someone's chucked 2 balls on the ice. That old chestnut. Back into the centre. This will be last play of the game. South Australia will be desperate to get the ball here and have a shot. They've done a flickeroo, high stick there, double high stick, but no high sticks are being called there. South Australia, and that's almost the game. And that's all she wrote. ACT defeat South Australian Sharks 1-0 in the men's elite game. Coming up next on the draw, we have the women's elite. And looks to be ACT v New South Wales. New South Wales will be desperate for a win in this game to get them any sort of chance into the final. Both teams have been playing really well. It's been very tight competition all around. And we'll get underway shortly in about 50 seconds.
Back everyone to the Women's Elite New South Wales Sliders versus ACT Flames. We have currently the battle of the 1st and 3rd seed. ACT Phoenix with some strong wins under their belt. However, a resurgent New South Wales looking to claim their spot in the finals. Here we have Davis going up against Wisdom. Looks like the switch is completed. However, Tonkin switches on to Wisdom perfectly. We've got Hall, Vanesca. New South Wales looking to shut out the ACT offence line nicely. However, Wisdom shot in. Blocked by Davis between the legs. However, that could have been bad. But Leanne, a phenomenal keeper. One of New South Wales' best. Now, Davis tries to go to Hanson. Goes instead to Leanne, however. That's okay. That's okay. We have Vermeulen, the keeper for the intermediates, now coming in as a runner for the elites. And a runner she is. Now we have Wisdom going across to Par. Par sets up. Big shot. However, goes off the wall to Hall. Vaneska, Hansen, and Tonkin all get a touch on that. However, it's Tonkin who takes it back behind the New South Wales goal. Here we have Davis. We have Davis up against Parr. Parr gets it to Thomas with a big swing. ACT really putting the pressure on, and New South Wales are struggling to get it out of their defensive half. Looks like maybe a stick in the face there, but I guess that's part of battle. Hall goes up against Tonkin. Tonkin with the good and strong defense. Davis and Hansen there to clean it up. However, ACT with the continual forward momentum and pressure, putting New South Wales on the back foot and struggling for a breakout at this stage of the game. Tonkin, over to Vermeulen, over to Davis. However, chased down nicely by ACT, but Davis keeps going. Here's Vermeulen. De Bruyne, my apologies, De Bruyne. De Bruyne has carried it down into the ACT defensive half for the first time, I think, this game. Shot over the cross. Lambert. Across to Thomas. A slip there by the ACT player, however, gets over before the offside is called. Glazier backing down the ACT 54. Glazier continues to back him down. Gets the ball over the red for an ACT reset. However, ACT excellent with the passing and ball movement. ACT goes to the board. Cecilia tries to block it off. Here we have Yabsley. Yabsley pursued hotly by Thomas. However, here we have Kim. Kim Harrison. Or I should say Fuller. My apologies. Fuller with a cracking shot across goal. However, there were no forwards there to clean it up. Here we have Thomas. Number 52, marked by Tonkin. We have two New South Wales players back. We have Tonkin and Hansen. However, Sally goes to the corner, goes in, tries to get the shot off, however, goes left of the goals. And here we have Fuller passing it, getting it over the red line, forcing ACT to reset. However, goes for the quick sub. Now we have ACT setting up in their back line. Bit of pressure from De Bruyne. Hansen picks the ball, covered by Martin. Martin steals it. Doesn't look like there was much communication there. However, Martin to Wisdom. Or Martin to Wisdom, formerly Martin. Now, here's Martin. Goes for the shot in. Oh, beautifully cleared by Kim. However, ACT, pressure is the name of the game, and the ACT are... Oh, Wisdom! Another cracker of the shot from up top of the key. Martin tries to save it. Unfortunately, just goes over the red line before they're able to. Martin goes long. Davis. Bit of contact, but that's okay. We have Katie. Tries to take the ball centre, however, picked up by Davis. Flanked by De Bruyne and Finesca. However, Watson going for the contest in the middle. Watson picks it up. Goes to the centre for Hall. Hall looked like potentially going for a bit of a run now. Passes it off to Wisdom. Wisdom holding. Excellent ball movement by ACT. Hall tries to get the shot on, however, beautifully stopped by Hansen. However, another shot coming in the centre there. Goalkeeper having to work this early in the game. We have Parr against Kim. Kim gets the steal, goes around. We have we have Hansen going to Yabsley. Yabsley threads it through centre, however, picked up by Watson. Watson over to Wisdom. Watson, Wisdom to Martin. There's a bit of scramble in front of the New South Wales goal here. New South Wales have picked it back up, however, Martin intercepts the pass. Yabsley goes around the other side. They've got Finesca. Finesca covered by Wisdom. Vanesca tries for the shot, however, goes to Hall. Hall. Oh. Hansen goes for the icing. Potentially buying New South Wales a bit of time, however, stopped by the ACT keeper as may have gone in the crease. Here we have ACT coming back in 52. 52 with a clear run. Sans Glazier, apologies. Here we have Thomas back in the corner, covered by Glazier.
Lisa coming off the bench.
Glazier covering well, however. Pass into the centre.
That's you, Lisa.
Back out to the top. ACT a chance to reset. Davis covering 52. Davis continues to cover well. Thomas straight back in, however, passes it to Tonkin. With a deft hand, has flicked it back out to Macklin. However, Lamond picks it up, keeps it over the red, however, carried over by Fuller. Here comes Fuller, flanked by Macklin. Macklin and Fuller, the two forwards, pushing against the ACT onslaught. Fuller, covered by Lamond. A scuffle taken by Lamond. Gabsley attempts, however. Passes back to 52. Goes past Kim. It is now Glazier. Cracking shot, however, blocked deftly by the keeper, Ermish. And that is a ball out on the full, therefore it will be a reset. ACT having a lot of pressure in this first quarter, I should say. However, New South Wales have had chances of their own. It's anyone's game, and there's plenty of time to go. He says, as A. Martin scores a beauty on the top left. Off the face-off, one of the quickest goals we've seen off a face-off. And we'll go to the replay now. Just a slide, slap, and hit into the top left corner. Unfortunately, no New South Wales defender was able to get there in time. Well done to ACT. But now, the stakes are even higher. We have ACT running it back. Watson over to Hall. Hall looking for options. Davis cuts it off. However, Wisdom is there to pick up the slack. Watson over to Parr. Parr goes past Tonkin, and it is being chased down by Martin. However, it may be an icing. Oh, they get to it! They get to it before it crosses the line. That is a phenomenal effort by the ACT forward, Martin. Vanesca, pressed by Wisdom. Glazier taking it back around the back. Martin, picked up. Martin maybe seeking a second. Wisdom, big crack. Oh, rolls in front of the goal, but whacked out by Ermish. New South Wales looking for a strong clear, which they have. ACT comes out of the crease to prevent the icing, however, gets ACT the ball with plenty of time. But not too much time as De Bruyne is pushing on. Watson. Back over the top. 52, taken well. And pass. Now, for those at home, if you touch it with your hand outside of your defensive third, that is outside of your defensive blue line, and one of your teammates touches it, that is what we call a hand pass. Listen, I'm more of a colour commentator. All right, so here we have him over to Hansen. ACT defense scrambling, but they do a good job of picking it up. Williams. Gavsley behind. Him looking to cover the centre. They do. Get it back over the side, which means New South Wales is currently onside. Offside called. And now ACT will reset in the New South Wales defensive half. Both teams filled with impeccable talent. And this is a real battle of the Titans. Here we have Tonkin. Tonkin taking up the wall. Blocked by 45. 42 and 45 going at it. Thomas passes it over. However, wow, picked up by 53. However, New South Wales trailing closer on each possession, but ACT just able to get that pass away just before they get there. Excellent commitment by Fuller, which now results in Macklin picking up the ball behind the ACT goal. This is an excellent chance for New South Wales. Macklin goes against the legs. Back to Glazier. Glazier's got Kim. Glazier opts to go corner. Good option. Fuller picks it up. Covered by Lamond. Fuller. Round the back. Fuller, 2 to 4 out in the Broomball field. Fuller, again. Fuller goes to the corner pass, however, cut off by ACT. Kim covers the wall well, however, gets the pass in the centre. Now, it is a 1-on-2. Here comes ACT. Thomas. Shot from the back, however, blocked by Davis. Thomas probably going to have another crack. ACT! ACT! Phenomenal passing. Phenomenal breakout from ACT. Wonderful goal scored by Mason to bring ACT 2 up ahead of New South Wales. But don't count New South Wales out yet. They've had plenty of opportunities to be able to bring this score even. Here we have Martin and Wisdom covering the right-hand side. Big flick over the top. Run on by Wisdom. Wisdom covered by 2 New South Wales defenders. However, Martin! Martin! Blocked beautifully by Hermes. But that was close. I put my chest in my throat. ACT are flying in on every flag right now. They are playing a phenomenal game. New South Wales, De Bruyne. Hansen, Vanesca. Watson. Watson able just to keep it over the right, pursued hotly by New South Wales defenders. Parr looking for the cross in. Blocked by Ermish. De Bruyne. Excellent pass out by De Bruyne. Picked up by Tonkin. Tonkin goes over Vanesca. Vanesca looks for the... Oh, here comes Yabsley. Here comes Yabsley. It's a 1-on-1 with the keeper. Here comes Hall. Ready to support. It just goes wide. But excellent attempts by New South Wales. Here's Parr. Covered by Hansen. De Bruyne. Across. Watson. Watson. Over to A. Martin. Martin and Davis. Tussling. Kim. Kim's got time. Kim passes it out. Perfectly done by Hansen. However, De Bruyne not able to convert. This looks like Parr. A bit of defensive work. Wisdom, Martin, both on Davis. Davis gets past both. Looks to get the rebound off. However, picked up by Watson. Watson and Martin. Martin. Picked up by Davis. Martin. Back to Watson. Martin. Big hit to clear. Glazer in chase. However, here comes Kim. Kim, good pass, but good defense by Hall. Hall just powering through, but here comes Macklin to provide further support. Yabsley, however, goes off the feet. Glazier with a strong clear to be able to put ACT back on the back foot. And here comes Macklin. Here comes Fuller. However, picked up by Watson. Goes back behind to Lamont, but picked up by Fuller. Here comes Macklin. Good shot by Fuller. Good shot by Macklin. However, the ACT goalie, as I always say, should be paid overtime. They are doing excellent work. Here comes 52. 52. Pushing hard. Glazier picks up. However, looks for the shot in, however, goes wide. New South Wales looks to clean up the rebound with Yabsley as support on the side. Tonkin. Stolen by Thomas. No. That. The goalkeeper's feet, thankfully, stopping that cross into the goal. The ball did not cross in over the line. Therefore, the score is still 2-0 ACT, New South Wales. ACT, ready. New South Wales, setting up. De Bruyne. Back to Maddie. Lamond. Lamond again. Oh, Lamond goes for the centre pass. Thomas, good pass out. Decent shot in for the rebound, which Thomas picks up. Thomas going for another pass. Zoe, Thomas. ACT are running in and out, sweeping the slot in front of the New South Wales goal. Hansen, excellent clear. To De Bruyne. De Bruyne looking for ups. They get them. Here comes Finesca on Maddie. They've got Thomas in support. They go to Lamond. Lamond. A decent amount of daytime between them and their defenders. However, New South Wales has gotten back. Tonkin. Perfect execution over the line. Here comes New South Wales on the pass break. Tonkin. We've got Tonkin on the right. Tonkin picked up by De Bruyne. De Bruyne goes in. Miss. That's okay. Sorry. Tonkin. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just... Yeah, Finesca. Finesca. Sorry. Oh. Oh, no. Fonseca, my apologies. Yeah, I had some technical difficulties. Fonseca. Now we have Macklin. Thomas. Oh. Oh, De Bruyne. Excellent hit. Perfectly taken by ACT in the centre. Now hotly pursued by New South Wales. Tonkin. Oh, here we have ACT on the run. ACT on the run. It's Thomas. It's one-on-one versus the keeper. It's in! It's in! Number 6, Thomas. With well supported by ACT. Scores a phenomenal one-on-one. With 3 seconds left of the first, we'll end this half. 3-0 ACT. Do not turn it off, folks. This game is going to get... So as mentioned, now we go to the huddles, where we see the teams discuss strategy and see how they can come out firing in the second half. Shout out to our keepers, Hookins and Godmare, as well as everyone who has gone to make this happen. Currently, it is New South Wales Sliders 3, ACT Flames... Wait, oh my goodness, sorry. ACT Flames 3, New South Wales Sliders 0. This game is looking to be vital for New South Wales to be able to make finals. However, their final position will be determined tomorrow at 8 a.m. or 7:15 for the Women's Elite. Davis lining up against Wisdom. Davis winning the face-off. Hansen able to carry through. However, Wisdom's there. Oh, sorry, Martin. My apologies. Martin and Wisdom look to pass back between each other, but frozen by the keeper, Ermish, to start this second half on fire. We have Yabsley, Macklin, Fuller, Tonkin, Glazier, Ermish as the starters for New South Wales going into the defensive half. We have Wisdom, back to Parr, back over to Wisdom. Over to Watson, number 10, positioned beautifully with an excellent pass. Watson, blocked by Fuller, excellent block. We have Macklin, Macklin running onto it. Excellent pass to get over the red. Now the ACT have to reset. They're choosing to reset behind their own goal line. We have Macklin chasing Parr.
One each, guys. One each.
Martin, over to Wisdom. Wisdom. Back over to Parr. We have Martin. Here comes Martin, straight through the centre of the New South Wales defence. However, ACT called for offside. It looks like Parr, number 32, went over before the ball. Here comes Zoe against Kim. Kim goes side by side, go down the wall. Zoe gets a pass onto the centre, however, picked up by Kim. Number 45 looks to convert in the inside. Howard picked off by Fonseca. Able to be kept on side by the ACT team. Who's looking for another crack at it. Another shot in. However, almost blocked by the ACT player, but Kim was there to back up. ACT running it back around the outside of the ACT goals. Oh, New South Wales goals, apologies. We have number 54, top of the key. Looks to take a swing, does. A dive from the ACT player, however, picked up by Kim. Into the ACT player's stick, looking for the wall. Here comes Kim. A battle against the wall. Pass out, Lamont. Lamont, big swing. Blocked deftly by Ermish. Another shot goes on top. ACT pouring on the firepower now. New South Wales looking to stem the tide by getting it over the red. Hansen. Good defense. However, ACT are there and getting the scrambles. Number 54. Stolen by Kim. Number 54 retrieves. Goes for a shot. Goes right round the goals. However, a decent shot for one on the move. Fonseca. Fonseca takes it down. Has some options to pass. Choose the wall. However, goes to the legs of Lamont. Lamont takes it down. Gabsley goes over the top. Run on by Fonseca. Covered by De Bruyne. De Bruyne, Fonseca. Up. New South Wales take this opportunity to sub. ACT holding the ball. Lamont over to Thomas. Thomas, the goal scorer. Goes into the centre. Number 45, however, covered by two defenders and goalie. With more on the way. Thomas. Thomas shot in. However, blocked by Ermish. We have Hall. Fuller. Into the centre. Fonseca. Fonseca picks it up. Hall goes back to Watson. Watson looking for Parr. No, Watson looking for a shot. Excuse me. Glazier. Glazier. Back to Yabsley. Yabsley pushes through. Finds Glazier. However, they're caught together now. Fonseca. Ball goes wall. 46 goes for a crack. However, Tonkin's right there to say, no thank you. Not today. Tonkin takes it back behind the wall. Tonkin holding off 45. However, looking for a pass or support. We have Glazier. Glazier receives the ball. Covered by Wisdom. And the ball goes over the side. As it came off ACT, this will be a drop in ACT's defensive third. We have Wisdom once again squaring off against Davis. Hall, Martin, Parr, and Watson for ACT lining up. We have Davis. Wisdom pushing through. However, stopped by Hansen. Davis goes for the shot to Fuller. However, picked up by Hall. Kim comes across. Davis comes across. Big shot over the top. However, Parr goes through the center. Martin with Wisdom as support. Wisdom and Martin. However, an errant pass to the referee. Now here comes Fuller. However, Wisdom picks up the ball despite Fuller's efforts. Well, New South Wales are running back. However, they have good defensive coverage. It's only Martin and Hall and Parr at the moment in striking range of that goal. However, as ACT are very adept at doing, they're setting up. Here comes Wisdom. Wisdom, marked by, I think that's Macklin. Wisdom to Fuller. Fuller over the red. Chased by Macklin and Yabsley. Looks like it may be potentially miscommunication there in double team. However, De Bruyne comes through and gets the hand pass to be able to secure the ball back in ACT's goal line. Watson. Watson covered by De Bruyne. Watson looking to go to Wisdom. Watson gets it past Macklin. Goes over to Parr. Parr over number 52. 52. They've got a strong run. Covered by Glazier. Here comes Glazier. Here comes Kim. However, 52. Excellent defensive work by Glazier. Sniping the ball away. However, Martin once again comes to get the rebound and the shot on, but stopped by the New South Wales keeper. All right, here we have the drop. We have Thomas versus Davis. Here we have De Bruyne. Covering 54. Here we have Thomas. Thomas picking it up. Chonkin. 52. Looking to recreate that special run they did just before. Here comes number 6. Thomas. Can they make it 2 from 2? An excellent shot. An excellent shot from Thomas. Excellent run, communication, and passing from the ACT team. However, phenomenal effort from the New South Wales defense to get back to cover that. Lamond covered by Fonseca. Opts for the switch. Here comes Thomas once again. Thomas on fire this game. De Bruyne. De Bruyne. Covering. Gets the steal. Fonseca battling under the goal with Lamond. Lamond gets it out. However, looks like it may go as far as Glazier. Glazier keeps it over the line. However, goes to 44. 45. 45. Taking it down. Picked up by Glazier. Excellent work by both Kim and Glazier. Hall. Hall looking to battle. Fonseca. Fonseca gets the icing, which is a much needed break for both teams. That was high intensity stuff. In the face-off, we have Yabsley, Wisdom. Hansen. Opts to go wall. It's a good option. This might be called as icing. However, the referee does not have their hand up, so potentially this may be a play on for... Nope, it is icing. I apologise. New South Wales. A steep hole to climb out of. However, if anyone can do it, it's them. ACT looking to cement their lead and cement their top of the place as the number 1 seed and guaranteed berth into the finals. Which they may already have, actually. I apologize. Here comes Fuller. Fuller against Hall. ACT swarming in front of the New South Wales goals. Wisdom, over to Hall. Wisdom covering, I believe that is Hansen. Hansen, Fuller. Fuller and Wisdom clash sticks. However, Wisdom looks like to pick it up, but covered closely by Yabsley. Martin, back to Watson. Watson, over to Parr. Parr, good foot movement. Looks like to split the defenders, however, taking it themselves into the corner. Looks to get them to overcommit, however, good deft movement by Tonkin to be able to stop it there and get it back over the red line. Now here come New South Wales. Here comes Fuller. Watson, pursued hotly. Looks for the switch across. Gets it to Martin. Martin goes across. And here's Hall. Covered by Glazier once again. Can Glazier do it again? Oh, goodness. Oh, no. Sorry. Glazier goes over the top to Macklin. Macklin looks to go for the options. Goes to Jody. Excellent pass. However, just the nature with ice sometimes, you can slip. Glazier picked up again. Perfect over the top. And here comes Macklin, covered by 54. Lamond is in support. Cornish doing an excellent job this whole tournament to be able to... Here's De Bruyne. De Bruyne and Zoe. Lamont goes back round. Number 54. Covered by Davis. Davis looking for the pass in the centre. This could be New South Wales' chance. However, taken by 54. 54. Going straight through the centre. However, picked up by Glazier. Glazier flanked by two ACT players. They have some options on the side. New South Wales opting to sub. Glazier, however, picked up by 52. 52 looking a shot in. However, kicked away by Tonkin. It's great stick check by De Bruyne. Here comes Yabsley. Firing like a bullet fired from a gun. Gets that ball well before it crosses the line and is able to set up her team. Now we have the forwards coming in. De Bruyne. However, an errant pass in the middle picked up by Thomas. Thomas to 45. 45 takes it over. Covered by Tonkin. Unable to get the pass through Tonkin. However, picks up the rebound. Behind the New South Wales goal now, looking for a pass in. Goes up. Bounces off Hansen, however, put out by the goalie. Tonkin there once again to clean up the loose ball. Every shot goes wide. However, a call has been made.
High stick there called on the ACT player. New South Wales will have 5 on the field now with 6 minutes remaining on the clock in the second period, and they'll be looking to capitalise on a goal to get them some hope of putting some pride back on the line.
Well, that is a much needed reprieve for the New South Wales offence, as they will have opportunity to get one back in this ball game. It's not over yet, folks. ACT have done a phenomenal job, but New South Wales are here.
New
5
South
on
Wales
4.
need to reset some plays here, just cool their heels a bit, get their line shaped, and just be a bit patient. A lot of rush play going on here, considering they've got an extra player. Here we go, and goal here. No, almost a goal there from New South Wales. ACT have the ball now behind goals. They'll try and hold on to this as long as possible and then try to ice it up the pitch. New South Wales retrieves the ball and brings it back. ACT have the ball now, bringing it down the line. And New South Wales will attempt to set this one up for a shot at goal with 57 seconds remaining on the penalty kill. Yabsley will keep this one in the halfway line, and they will reset. They should regroup here, and then they'll have one shot in the window. Oh, wow. That was a wild stick. Over to you, Sean. On the attack now. New South Wales just pepper it over the line. Coming back in. ACT have the ball, no urgency required. Lines have been swapped. And we still have 5 seconds left on the penalty kill. We've got Pearson coming hard at the line from ACT. Nice ball through. Another nice wide ball. He'll be shot on goal here coming. And great save by the keeper. ACT retrieve the ball, get it out. Keeper will freeze. And that's another change to the line from both sides with 3 minutes and 40 seconds remaining on the clock. ACT 3 and New South Wales 0.
Thomas and Yabsley. Thank you, Graham. Here we have Lamond. Here we have bounces it off the top to 45. Ormiston. Now here we have Fonseca. Yabsley pushing hard. Fonseca putting pressure on the ACT back line. However, ACT happy to carry behind their goals. Here's Thomas. He's been a star for the ACT team. Over to Lamond. Over to Ormiston. Great ball off the wall. Past Kim. However, Kim is in hot pursuit. Goes for the cross across. However, Hall was just a little behind. However, that's all right. It was a perfect pass and excellent positioning from both players. Now, here comes Yabsley. Yabsley goes across to Fonseca. Flanked by 2 ACT members, but it's a 3v3. However, kicked with impunity from Cornish. Here we have Hansen. Over to Ormiston. Almost a high stick, potentially, but that's okay. Thomas. Over to Ormiston. Over to Hall. ACT have to slow down a little bit, just in order to not get an offside. However, they play that well. Here comes Davis, charging through. Still in possession of 45. ACT looking for another opportunity here. However, here comes Davis. Passes it across beautifully to De Bruyne. However, an offside called by the referee. There is over 1 minute left in this ball game, folks. It looks like it may end 3-0. ACT Flames versus New South Wales Sliders. A phenomenal effort by both teams, a wonderful effort by both teams. But as with all things, there can only be one winner. Here comes Watson. Down to Wisdom. Wisdom for the cross. Off number 52, and almost beautifully put, but the New South Wales defense and goalie were there. Here comes Watson. Oh, sorry, not Watson. Wisdom. Apologies. Parr on the top. Watson's also on the top. Here we have Wisdom. Big cracking shot across the front of the goal. Almost got by 52. Yeah, shout out 52. Fuller goes past, blocked by Omish. New South Wales maybe trying to get a clearance here, or maybe trying to get something moving. Looks like a bit of contact in the wall there, however. Doesn't look to be malicious. 2 players going in on Fuller. However, the whistle is blown, and that concludes our Women's Elite game. ACT Flames versus New South Wales Sliders, with ACT triumphing 3-0. Well done to all parties involved. All of the highlights for your enjoyment, put together by a wonderful videographer team. Next up, we have ACT Flames versus the New South Wales Sliders, but this time in the intermediate division. Stay tuned for one of the highlights of the night. New South Wales look to cement their position in the finals, and ACT looking to take revenge for the 0-0 draw last night. All right, teams, we start off this wonderful final game to end our Saturday night. This is the New South Wales Bluebells versus the ACT Scorchers Women's Intermediate. Can Rigby continue her run of form and smash another goal into the back of the net? Can ACT overturn the tie last night and turn the tides of the intermediate division? Will we see a continued resurgence of the New South Wales Women's Intermediate team? I hope yes to all of the above. Stay tuned, everyone. This is going to be a great night of Broomball. Now, we have Shepherd up against Johnson. We have Exposito. We have Martin. Martin, covered well by Rigby, who's having a scorcher Broomball season. Seddon looks to get past the red. Unable to. Seddon continuing to fight. Rigby. Excellent coverage by both defenders there. Seddon looking for a pass inward. Over to Shepherd, who has scored 2 goals already against this team, with another coming from Harrison. Siswandi going for it, however, picked up by number 71. That would be Gallagher. And unfortunately, put over the boards. As was put over by ACT, this will be taken in ACT's defensive half. Now, for New South Wales, we have Sally Yabsley-Bell, Ashlyn Harrison, Monique Siswandi, Jane Earl, and Felicity Hudson. For the Scorchers, we have Gallagher, Boyd. Oh, we're having an issue with the gate, hence why the ball is not being dropped yet. Gives me time to go through the team list. So, Olivia Boyd is the captain, Joe Cornish is the assistant captain, Bridget Esposito is the assistant captain, Grace Brayshaw, Natalie Gallagher, Michaela Hatch, Tamika Johnson, Ashton Martin, Quinn Reed and Courtney Tanner, with Natalie McDougall as the goalkeeper. Sally Absley-Bell goes and meets Monique Saswandi, gets it past 2 ACT defenders, however, is called for icing, as no player was able to reach the ball before it went behind the goal line. And when I say goal line, I don't mean the actual goal line, I mean the line of which the goal is put across, if that makes sense. I apologise. So for New South Wales, we have Harrison, Hewkins, McKinley, Rigby and Bryan, representing the orange colours of New South Wales. Not typically associated with New South Wales, but I don't mind orange. Now, Hewkins tries to get it off Boyd. However, pass into the centre for ACT. We have number 57, Brayshaw. Rigby pursuing hotly number 47. Cornish passes it in. We have McKinley. McKinley passes it over. Here's Hewkins. Hewkins going for a run. Hewkins passing it over. Gets it over the red. ACT has to reset. Rigby able to stop it just before the red line, giving New South Wales the chance to get it over. Now McKinley. McKinley kicks it down. Stopped by Cornish. Harrison. A danger in that corner there. Goes for a shot, however stopped by Cornish. Cornish round the back. Goes to Hewkins. Hewkins and 57 clashing. Clashing on the boards. Bit of a physical play, but that's all right. Here's Rigby. Rigby trying to take it round. Covered hotly by the ACT defender. Here's Bryan. Big slap. McKinley unable to convert. However, the New South Wales forwards come in en masse with Hewkins trying to convert that goal. Oh, we look like we may have an injury. That may be Olivia Boyd. I hope they're okay. Oh, goodness. Thankfully, as you saw, Boyd is back up and walking. Looks like they're recovering on the ACT bench. So that's good. That's good. But yeah, I hope they're okay. Now, moving over to Shepherd. Shepherd, New South Wales, back on the run. We have Saswandi. Johnson. Johnson looking to pass it. 57. Here comes Seddon. Hudson picked up beautifully. Flicks it back over. However, now New South Wales is back, able to get back on the side. Here's Sally Absley-Bell. Didn't do a big hit, but still phenomenal. Gives New South Wales a chance to set up that forecheck and be able to really exert some pressure on the ACT intermediates. ACT playing with it behind the goals. Decent pass off the wall, however picked up by Rigby. Rigby off the braids to Shepherd. Shepherd back behind the post. Taken by Cornish. 57 versus Hudson. However, swarming with New South Wales defenders, they pick up the loose ball. Absley-Bell goes down to Hudson. Hudson stopped with a hand. Cornish doing excellent work defensively to keep the New South Wales forwards out. And here comes Saswandi. Here comes Saswandi. Back by 56. However, gets it away. Here comes Rigby. Rigby takes it back around. They've got Shepherd in support on the wall. Shepherd in support on the wall. Shepherd, excellent. They've got Seddon in the middle. Blocked by ACT. ACT, it's 3-on-2. ACT cracking up behind the goals. Here we have 57. A bit of argy-bargy, but I think there is contact allowed in women's. Here's Jane. Ooh. Potentially a trip there, having no call. Here comes Seddon! Seddon! Able to be deftly blocked by the keeper. However, Seddon, a beautiful run. Excellent pass in from Jane. 47. Tanner, covered by Harrison. McKinley. McKinley, excellent defense. However, ACT get 2 shots on. Here comes Brian. Brian with a run through. McKinley and Harrison. Hewkins in support. Hewkins able to carry it. Excellent shot on. Over to McKinley. McKinley, unfortunately unable to convert. However, able to pick it up and reset for New South Wales. However, here comes Brian. Over to Hewkins. Hewkins, excellent shot, however, just in front of goals. Excellent freeze by the ACT keeper. Give the ACT a bit of breathing room and reset the play back in their goal half. It looks like Boyd is getting back on the ice, which is an excellent sign. Yep, shout out to him. They're back on. Along with 56, which is Hatch. Shepherd. Back out to Hudson. Hudson now. Doing the 1-2 with Shepherd. Shepherd. Covered by Hatch. Looking for the pass to Hewkins. Hewkins, unfortunately, nowhere to go. Sorry. Earl. Apologies. Earl, nowhere to go. Here comes Hudson. Picks the pocket beautifully. Goes over to Shepherd. Shepherd's got a clear lane. Shepherd looks to take it to Boyd. However, Boyd stops them in their tracks. Exposito goes across. Boyd. Excellent work on the flick there. However, Rigby showing that defensive stalwartness, however, unable to keep it over the red line as the ACT scorches. Look to turn up the pressure. Tanner on Rigby. Tanner pushing Rigby back. However, Rigby does not look like they have many options. Rigby opts to go for the kick. They are a soccer player. With Earl. Looking to go across to Rigby. Rigby runs on. Here's Earl. Here's Earl. Earl. Earl! Earl took it themselves and got it. Score for New South Wales. Oh my gosh. Wow. Well done. Well done. Sorry, I'm from New South Wales, for people wondering at home. Jane Earl. A phenomenal solo goal. Rigby, Earl, and then flick over the goalie. A phenomenal effort from a phenomenal player. Well done. However, folks, we still have 30 minutes left in this game. Anything can happen. Harrison. Seddon, back to Cornish. Ryan. Picked up by Brian. Brian goes across the Yabsley Bell. Yabsley Bell, good flick over. However, picked up by Cornish. Cornish doing a lot of work defensively tonight. Stopped by Seddon. Seddon, excellent stop. Looks to go to Hewkins. Goes to the centre. However, ACT offside. Hewkins. Hewkins carrying out the side. Hewkins. Some support in Harrison and Seddon. However, Hewkins opts to go back. Picked up by Seddon. Seddon continues to march forward with the ball. Picked up by Johnson. Harrison and Seddon. Pocketed by the ACT defender. And excellent run and pass through the middle. Good ACT answer of their own here. Here's Hewkins. Hukins back over the line. Pursued hotly by Ashton. Harrison. Harrison looks for the pass in. Stopped by Cornish. Cornish has stopped many a pass into the centre and shot on. Well done, Cornish. Brian. Brian picked up. Labsley Bell looks for the switch across. Earl jumps over to not get called for the offside. Johnson passes back. 63. McKinley. McKinley goes for a run. Big hit. Harrison looks to pick up. Covered by Cornish. Harrison goes across to Hukins. Hukins bumps off. No, Earl. Sorry, Earl. Earl bumps off. Gets the pass. Back to Harrison. Harrison, content to... passes it off. McKinley. McKinley, off ball. ACT looked to have a clear run here. However, here comes Hudson. Here comes Hudson and Rigby. Hudson with an excellent hustle play to be able to get the ball locked out and allow the New South Wales defenders to reset. But here comes 63. 63, clear shot in. 63, phenomenal shot. However, New South Wales defence were there and they were ready. Here comes Cornish at the back. Sorry, sometimes I forget I'm commentating. I just watch. My apologies. Number 47, Rigby. Excellent footwork by Rigby. Gives New South Wales a bit of a break. And allows both teams to sub and reset. Currently 1-0 New South Wales Bluebells versus the ACT Scorchers. Here we have Shepherd. Oh, Shepherd looks to be tripped by Cornish there. Cornish was on the knee. So I don't think there's much justification for any mitigation in that regard. So, well, I hope both players are okay. New South Wales are going to capitalise on a power play. So what that means is they've got an extra player on, taking their goalie off now. It's 6-on-5. When ACT retain control of the ball for a period of time, yes, that is when the penalty will be called. So currently it is player number 37, Cornish, who has been called for tripping, I believe. Shepherd looking okay. Seddon with the ball in. Almost frozen by the keeper. However, taken out. 47. Looking to pass around the back. Esposito. Over to Martin. Martin, however. Shepherd passes back to Yabsley Bell. Yabsley Bell over to Brian. Brian, big shotter in. Here comes Shepherd. Here comes Yabsley Bell once again. Yabsley Bell, excellent. Rebound taken by McKinley. Pass picked off by Esposito. Here comes Yabsley Bell. Yabsley Bell looking for an opportunity to potentially shoot. Yabsley Bell goes across, picked up by Seddon. However, assistant cap's there to clean it up. Here comes Martin. Martin looking to get it over the line. Does get it over the line. And now New South Wales has to reset. ACT doing well to kill this power play. They're happy to hold it in their own half without too much pressure. However, here comes Shepherd. Here comes Seddon. The two New South Wales forwards. Oh, that was a risky business. Well, that's the business we're in. Rigby taking the ball back up. Goes for the shot. Blocked well by the ACT defender. And here comes Shepherd. Unfortunately, once again, the red ball is over. Sorry, the ball is over the red line, so they will need to reset. And here comes Shepard. Shepard once again. Looking for a pass across. Goes to Seddon. Seddon. Well set up. Oh, Seddon with a beautiful foot pass to Earl. Earl. Blocked excellently by the keeper. I don't know what's the word. Oh my gosh. Goes behind the keeper and slapped out by the ACT defender. Phenomenal work. ACT defenders doing excellent work here in this penalty kill. Now, ACT are part of this. Sorry, ACT have now ended their penalty kill and are now at full strength. So now it is back to 5-on-5. We have Gallagher, Cornish, Johnson, and Brayshaw currently on for ACT. I think Hatch, potentially. Hatch. Here comes Hudson. Hudson passes down to Harrison. However, intercepted by AC, but picked back up by Hudson. Hudson goes across to Swandy. Passes back to Rigby. Rigby puts it in the corner. Picked up by Hewkins. Hewkins goes across for the cross. Sorry, goes for the cross. Rigby running back. Rigby, good pickup. Able to keep it over the red line and keep the ball clear. Hewkins, cracking shot. However, was a little wide of the goal. Here comes Harrison. Here comes the Swandy. Harrison picks the ball up again. Harrison, excellent flick. Almost an own goal. However, the ACT keeper and defender kept it out. But excellent flick by Harrison. Here comes Rigby. Another signature Rigby shot. ACT able to get it over the line.
Got a little bit of time. Play wall.
We have 57 and 17. ACT doing very well to keep it in New South Wales defensive half. However, here comes Hewkins. Picked up by 63. Reed. Apologies, Reed. Reed picks it up once again. Reed has been doing excellent as well. Hudson. Back to Reed once more. Reed goes for the shot. Blocked by Hudson. Reed and Hudson in a battle. McKinley. Picked up by Hewkins, and that brings us to the end of our first half. That is 1 New South Wales Bluebells versus 0 ACT Scorchers. Now we'll go to the highlights. We'll go to the highlights, and we will also check in on the team huddles to suss out the mood. For some explicable reason, we're changing benches. But that's okay. That's what Broomball's about. Surprises. Facing your fears head on, rushing at them like a bull, and coming out on top. So it turns out New South Wales need one more player on because it is currently a 4v5. And welcome back to the second half of the Women's Intermediate. New South Wales Bluebells versus the ACT Scorchers. Currently New South Wales are up 1-0 with a hurler of a goal from Jane Earl. Here's Seddon, using that fancy footwork to get the ball back over the red line. Here comes Shepherd. Martin against Seddon. Martin gets past over, picked up by Brian. Brian, over to Seddon. Seddon, able to take a run here. They got Shepherd in support. Oh, Seddon, fancy stick work. Gets past 1, 2. Goes for the pass. Picked up by Siswandi. ACT. Oh. Well put. Here comes Seddon. Seddon for the ground ball. Yardsley Bell able to get back over. 47. Go to Exposito. Exposito. Over to Martin. There is a foul called. A foul has been called. I think it was offside. Shout out to Dean Terry, playing for SA Elites and doing a good job reffing. Harrison, Hewkins now against the wall, having a good run, covered by 3 ACT players. New South Wales take this time. However, Hewkins keeping the ball down behind the ACT goal. McKinley, kick out to Hewkins. Hewkins, shot in. Blocked expertly by the defence of the ACT. However, Hewkins, back again. Rigby, covering 47. Rigby with excellent defence. Big shot in. However, ACT, good scramble. Goes over to Martin. Martin, past Hudson. Martin's running onto it now. Covered by Hudson. And 3 other New South Wales defenders are back. We have Harrison, Rigby, and Hudson. However, Martin doing well to keep it down into the corner. Goes back to Tanner. Oh, sorry, Cornish. And back to Reed. Reed, cracking shot. Is able to get it done on defense and offense. There it is, Tanner. Tanner with a lovely ball that the New South Wales keeper had to come out to stop. ACT starting to find their form with the long shots now. Picked up by Tanner again. McKinley on the back. Cornish able to keep it in. However, here comes Harrison. Harrison able to go for a run. Almost blocked by Cornish. Here comes Harrison. They've got Hewkins to support. They go for the cross. Please go. They go for the shot. They go for the shot. They go for the shot, however, stopped by Reed. Hewkins and Reed now. Here's Brian. Brian taking out the back. Brian straight through the centre to Harrison. Here comes Hewkins. Hewkins able to shoot from there. They're the leading point scorer for Rhinos B grade. Shout out. Here's Rigby. Hewkins gets it to the legs of Cornish, however, stopped by the goalkeeper, McDougall. New South Wales putting on some strong offensive pressure with an excellent breakout by Harrison and Hewkins and the strong defensive follow-up by their backline. However, ACT have had some shots out which have been on target. So at this stage, it is anyone's game. Shepherd, back to Brian. Brian, cracking shot over the top. Can Earl go 2 for 2 for this game? Oh, excellent ball in. Siswandi, excellent follow-up. However, goalie's there to keep it. Shepherd, scrambling. Back to Brian. Go Earl. Siswandi. Siswandi! For the women's intermediate. Minik Siswandi. Phenomenal effort from the rampaging New South Wales Bluebells. Siswandi, a phenomenal goal, bottom right corner, surrounded by their teammates as they take a well-deserved celebration. Well done, Minik. Here comes Seddon. Seddon supported by McKinley. Reed gives it up to Seddon. However, still holding well defensively. Seddon looking for a pass. Goes back to McKinley. Potentially looking for a cross now. Oh, almost able to get the cross. Here comes Shepherd. Shepherd going for the flick. New South Wales are going for it now. They are pouring the shots on. Here comes McKinley. McKinley looking potentially for a pass inside. However, gets a good rebound off. Here goes Seddon. Seddon, a real stalwart in the New South Wales forward line. Here's Reed. Reed, excellent ball. Here comes Shepherd. Shepherd, covered by 3 ACT defenders. Looks like they apologise to the ACT defender. Shout out to him. That's good sportsmanship. Now, here comes Hudson. Hudson. Excellent ball over the top, forcing ACT to run back. And here comes New South Wales. Exposito across to Reed. Reed, excellent in clearing the ball. Can they do it again? Oh, wow, excellent. They get it past. Johnson against Seddon. Here comes Rigby. Here comes Rigby. Rigby. Looking for 2 for 2. Rigby back to Harrison. Harrison, they've got options. Harrison taking it to him. Excellent block by ACT. Reed. Here comes Brian. Oh. Nasty tumble, but up straight away, Johnson. Reed once again putting in defensive work. But Brian sends it straight back behind the ACT goal. Covered by McKinley. Harrison. Harrison looking for the cross, looking for the ball! Harrison! Scores a blinder from the bottom left. Excellent work, New South Wales. I mean, I said what I said. Our replays brought to you by our videographer team. New South Wales currently leading 3-0 over the ACT Scorchers. Here comes Earl. Earl putting on good pressure on Cornish. Earl, a field hockey veteran. Earl putting in work. Goes to the pass to Shepherd in the centre. Shepherd stick checking. Martin covered both by Yabsley Bell and Earl. However, here comes Cornish. If anyone can get it out, it's Cornish. Cornish looks to go behind. Covered well by Earl. Cornish goes across. Goes to Hewkins. Here comes Yabsley Bell, going for a big shot. Big shot, however, blocked by the keeper. Hudson on the red line, able to prevent the ball going over, keeping New South Wales onside. Over to Hewkins, covered by 47, with that centre. Yabsley Bell, another cracking shot. Here comes Earl, and here comes Shepherd, seeking their third. Patrick Haley, they'll be called. Oh! What a scorcher, but well played by the ACT goalie to keep that one out. Here comes Cornish. Oh. And New South Wales really putting on some offensive pressure on ACT. As I say that, here comes Martin for the ACT offensive line. Oh, tries to pass it, however, just a little too close. And New South Wales are able to get the turnover. And here comes Hewkins. Here comes the Swandy. The Swandy. Pressure off their goal glory. He's looking for another. Hell, maybe looking for 3. Who knows? Here comes. Oh, a perler of a shot. And another follow-up by Hewkins. Perfect work from the front line. We have Martin, Johnson, Cornish, Reed, And Gallagher on the field as it stands for ACT. Reed. Decent ball out. However, Brian's there to collect it. Brian trying to go for the up and over, but I love it. Brian tries for the up and over. However, not able to get past Martin. Brian, double trouble. Rigby, excellent footwork from Rigby. McKinley and Siswandi. Potentially a bit of communication error there. However, Siswandi looking for a pass in. Or looking for a pass. Siswandi taking their time. ACT aren't really pressing too much. Martin on McKinley. Siswandi, however, covered now by Johnson. Rigby looking for a shot. Goes out to Harrison. Harrison potentially is going to wind up for this one. Harrison goes down, covered well by Reed. Siswandi picked past, however, by the goalkeeper. Siswandi back again. Siswandi. Good block by Johnson. Here comes Rigby, however, misses. Picked up by, well, not Gallagher, but they're there. Here's Harrison trying to feed it through, however, blocked by Cornish. Good pressure by New South Wales. However, Cornish able to get that ball out to Martin. Here comes Rigby. Here comes Kez. Good pass, good pass. McKinley. Here comes Rigby. Once again, Rigby making it rain on ACT. Here comes Siswandi, looking for a second. Here comes McKinley. Oh, Harrison, just off the left post. My left, you're right. Siswandi, excellent in that corner there. Able to facilitate out to their New South Wales counterparts. Speaking of which, here comes Gallagher. Able to get it over the red line, back into New South Wales defensive half. Now here comes Seddon. Seddon. Trying to run it past Brayshaw. I actually don't know about that. Sorry. Look, I shouldn't be in it. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Well, here comes Hewkins. Blocked off beautifully by Felicity. No, Hudson. Sorry. Hewkins. Over to Shepherd. Shepherd. Over to Seddon. However, blocked off by Reed. Here's Reed and Johnson. Here comes Hewkins. Hewkins. Blocked off by Brayshaw. Goes for the centre. Goes to Shepherd. Goes to Seddon. Seddon gets it over the line. Now here come the New South Wales forwards. It's Seddon. It's Shepherd. It's Hewkins. Seddon made an excellent decision there. Shepherd goes for the rebound. Seddon, perfect positioning to be able to get in line for the shot. However, ACT coming back on the attack. It's Hatch. Oh, Hatch almost gets to it, but however, icing is called. And with 5 minutes and 36 seconds left in this ball game, New South Wales Bluebells are up 3-0 versus the ACT Scorchers. We've had goals from Siswandi, Harrison, and Earl. I'd say it's been a scorcher of a game. Here comes Harrison. Looks a bit of a slowing pace now. Here comes Rigby. Using some physicality. Here's Harrison. Here's Brayshaw. Brayshaw and Rigby. Covered well by Brian. Brian over the top, but not in my house. Oh, good. Brayshaw. An excellent attempt. Whoa. Was there a call? Apparently it was a hand pass. No, sorry, not apparently. It was a hand pass. Looks like a bit of a confusion here from both teams, and myself even. But we're now taking the ball with just over 4 minutes left in the game to the ACT defensive half. Here comes Shepherd, seeking hat-trick glory. Here comes Brian, pursued by ACT. Here's Rigby, goes up and over. And with that break in play, the ball will now be taken into the New South Wales defensive half for our final minutes of the game. It's going to go in the centre for our final minutes of the game. Thank you, Greg. My apologies. Here comes Gallagher. Hudson with the ball. Hudson, options of Seddon or Yabsley Bell. Seddon, good take. Covered by Cornish. However, gets over the red line. Now here come the New South Wales forwards. Here's Seddon. Flanked by Shepherd. Reed able to get it around. Hudson looking for the flick. Here comes Seddon. Reed goes in the centre. Tanner takes it to Yabsley Bell. Passes it over once again to Reed. Sorry, back to Reed. And Reed's doing really well. Seddon. Oh, looked almost be a fan pass, but looks like 57 did touch it. Yabsley Bell looking to chase. However, New South Wales are under no onus to push the pace here. They are currently 3 up. So right now it is up to ACT to try and get a win. Here comes Seddon. Followed by Shepherd, Hewkins, Yabsley Bell. New South Wales pretty content to launch it. Cornish. Hewkins, Seddon, and Shepherd in pursuit. Passing to the goalie, however, that was almost a turnover with an open net. Brian picked up, keeps it over the red line. Seddon against Reed. Seddon, beautiful ball into the corner. Here's Cornish. Excellent ball up the wall. Excellent. Yeah, neat stuff. Sorry. Been a day. All right. Shepherd looking for a pass inside to the centre. Here's Reed. Goes over to Martin. They have a chance to score here. Here's Martin. Martin flanked by Johnson. Goes through 2 New South Wales defenders, however picked up by Hewkins. 1 minute left in this game, and New South Wales currently have it in their defensive half. Seddon pursuing. Harrison looking to clear, however stopped by Johnson and Reed. Hewkins on the run now. They have Cornish. Hewkins goes for the long ball. A great clear. Here's Harrison. Cornish. Rigby. Hewkins. Hell of a shot. That was sick. Now here comes Martin. Flanked by 2 New South Wales, however, has some options on the side. Rigby able to take it and probably going to play it for the final 10 seconds of the game. A wonderful, excellent effort by both teams. They should be incredibly proud of how they played. New South Wales Bluebells 3, ACT Scorchers. Yeah, well done. Join us tomorrow at 7:15 for Elite Games and then the finals. From all of us here at Broomball, thank you for listening.